And we are back. We are live with 2021 NA Apprentice Season 1, Code A, Group B. And of course, I am Light_VIP. With me for the second time now is the lovely, the beautiful, it's mLty.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited for these awesome games we have for you tonight. We've got really good players.
We actually have Protoss this week.
I know. I'm excited. It's a race I don't play, so we're going to learn something, possibly.
I would hope so. I'm really excited as well. We've been able to cast a lot of these guys before on this channel, but someone who I always have a lot of love for is one of these guys who actually used to play in our amateur tournaments years ago, Ruiyichi.
Yeah, Ruiyichi. He's a really good Protoss player, and I was on a clan with him. I believe he was on Storm for a while at the same time that I was, and he's really a stand-up guy. Always good for practice games.
Yeah, it's really cool to see how much he's grown, because again, back in the day, like we remember when he was Diamond, when he was Masters, and nowadays he's GM, and he's not just GM, like he's up there.
Yeah, no, he's definitely up there. He's like, what, 5.5, 5.6K or something right now? He is legitimately very scary.
Definitely. I'm definitely keeping an eye out for him when it comes to DreamHack and stuff like that. We always see him in the qualifiers. Like, he still has to break out. There are other like American Protoss players that kind of outshine him a little bit. Like, I think Ryan is probably the other big one. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yes. Myself as well. And then another player that is very good in our group is Early, another American Protoss player who I briefly met, I believe, at a Cheesadelphia.
Oh.
He was very hilarious in person, and so I'm very curious to see what if his playstyle has changed at all since then, because it has been a couple of years.
Oh, okay. We'll see. It's a bit of a shame that it's been a while since we had those lands, but I mean, one day, and like maybe at the end of the year, maybe next year or something, for Cheesadelphia to come back in an offline setting.
Yes, that would be very nice. I definitely would be really excited for that, because just like all these small scale lands really are like just so fun, and they always give me so much passion afterwards that like I just have to go home and play a bunch of StarCraft. But speaking of playing a bunch of StarCraft, we have some players who played a bunch of StarCraft ahead of us. We have some replays to cast, don't we?
That we do. We are going to be getting into our first series. It is going to be a TVP. Of course, it's going to be Wonder versus Early. And mates, are you ready?
I think I am indeed ready. Do you want to count us in?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. All right, go for it.
All right, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the yellow Protoss player. Give it up for Early.
I just realized that we see different starting players. God, this is gonna be fun. And in the top left, we have the American Terran player, the green Terran, representing team Remember the Game. It is Wonder.
Yes, this is going to be very, very interesting. And we'll get through it, I do believe. And speaking of getting through it looks like these players are getting through their very opening stages of the build with nothing too suspicious. A scouting probe, I believe that's a gateway scout. On the other side of things, a Rax gas build from our Terran player. Nothing. Actually, no, that is a bit weird. Getting a second gas very early on is Wonder. So, he's mixing it up a little bit from what you would consider normal.
Yeah. Definitely, and I love how we already see a full wall off at the ramp as well. He even doesn't finish it, just to make sure that Early is in the dark.
Yes, exactly. It is really good, and he, just this absolute denial of scouting information is causing such havoc in the Early camp. Just like, because what could it be? Because you kind of have to go core first. You kind of have to get like a slightly later Nexus and prioritize units, because you really don't know what it's going to be, but you know it's going to be pressure from your Terran opponent.
Yeah, definitely. I love it because I know there are other Korean Terrans who do this like innovation time as well, where even if they're doing something standard, they still do this just to mess with your opponent, you know, like just for the factor that they have no idea whether or not it is something early and aggressive or if it's something a little bit more standard. You always want to put that fear in you know the Protoss.
Exactly. I think it was a GSL game from Innovation where he did. If I'm remembering right, he did like some 1 rack 3cc build off
Yeah.
like walling off like this, and he floated off into the corner. It's like, yeah, no, I'm totally playing a standard game, but it looks weird. Because it is a bit weird. But yeah, no. Today I'm very curious to see what exactly we have in store for us.
Oh, and already Wander with his Reaper was able to catch that probe over on the left-hand side of the map. Wow, really surprising that he was able to find that. And with that, you know, now he has that little bit of map control. And I'm really curious, as you said, what he's going to be going for, because he did throw down the factory, but he is still working on his command center.
I'm very curious if this is just a safety thing from Wander, because because there's the possibility where it's like, yeah, no, I just want to like make sure I don't die to anything, maybe throw my opponent off a little bit, still kind of play a standard game, because maybe Wonder thinks that, hey, I am enough of the better player that it doesn't matter what you do to me, I'm still gonna just like beat you.
Oh god.
No, the pylon gets in the wall, absolutely denying any wall off, and just 1 second too late. Wonder is getting that wall off. Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Especially because it was like Wonder, he was going there with his SCV, like he wanted to finish up that wall, but like it was only 1 or 2 seconds too late. Early messing with him a little bit.
Yeah, that just the absolute worst timing there. That like possible. It's like, you know, I need to float off and get my reactor. Terran is thinking, but then Protoss comes in at the perfect time, and yeah, here, let's let me get a little bit of a scout off, get the deny, and slow you down and throw you off a little bit. It's nice.
Oh god. And I mean, now that early like he didn't exactly see what the opener was, but like he saw the command center being built on the high ground as well, like he should be feeling relatively safe. Like he does have his stalkers patrolling just in case, but so far so good.
Yeah, no, so far so good. The Reaper is looking like it's going to get in. The Stalker is just not quite in the exact right position, as he does go for a probe or two, which is a very interesting decision. I would have gone for deeper scout, but he does get the 1 probe, and he sees the Robo and the Twilight before dying. It doesn't quite dive into the natural to see no gases or like anything. So, you know, like not all the info, but he got basically everything. And ooh, that's really exciting. That robotics play there.
Okay. What are you thinking? Are you thinking Colossus or Disruptor?
I'm thinking it's going to be exactly 2 Colossus into Disruptors.
Oh, okay. We'll see how the Disruptor. Oh my god. Okay, we have Charge on the way as well.
Charge. Okay, this is really interesting. You normally don't see it charge with Disruptors.
Yeah.
You see them a bit more often with Colossi. And it was actually Gemini who told me this. It was very interesting stuff. You get glaives, and then you just make a bunch of adepts and disruptors, and you pretend you're M-canning. But your adept don't kill your zealots, so it's a bit easier to micro. But I'm very curious to see what this is, because the War Prism is moving out.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening right now. The War Prism is kind of being used as a scout. Meanwhile, we were talking about it. Like, normally you don't see zealots and disruptors because it's so easy to just friendly fire yourself, but that's what we're getting.
Yeah, no, very interesting. And there's like no Warp Prism speed or anything. And it looks like a third base is trying to be taken here by early. Very curious what the long-term game plan is here, because he's getting a lot of gateways, but is this just like a third base where it's like you're not actually going to make any workers on it, but you kind of want it to like, oh, I have a third base, so I'm playing a macro game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just because of all those gateways, like 6 gateways, or sorry, even more, is pretty insane here. We did see Wonder send an SCV, and he checked, and that he saw that there was no third.
I know this third is incredibly late. Usually, if it's not down by 5 minutes, you know something is amiss and you should start panicking as the Terran hero here. But this Disruptor is just like getting across the map, and I'm wondering if he's going to like, because they're siege tanks in position, I wonder if he's going to get some damage done. Like, siege tanks and Vikings make this pretty hard to do much of anything here.
Yeah, especially with the Viking, right? Like, the Viking is patrolling, it is nearby. As soon as he catches wind that there is a War Prism out on the map, like, I can't imagine it's going to be long for this world.
Exactly, and more bunkers are going down. Wonder is just like hunkering down, getting ready to face anything that Protoss can throw them. Even if Wonder is not entirely sure what exactly it could be, there he's hunkering down 3 bunkers at it, 5 bunkers even total.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of bunkers.
That's maybe too many bunkers. I mean, better safe than sorry, I guess. Somehow, some way, that War Prism still hasn't been spotted by the Vikings, and it is looking to get into the main.
Yes, getting into main. I feel like there's going to be a massive warp in here of Zealots, and the Disruptor maybe tries to get something done, but this could be the exact distraction that Early needs to jump into the natural, because like there's nothing in these bunkers here.
But in the end, it does get defended. I was about to say as well, like there are no bunkers in the main, so maybe there's an opportunity there, but in the end, he does evacuate. Thankfully, he saves his War Prism. So far, it has been able to evade the Vikings.
Yes, it's always very nice to keep that War Prism alive, especially because there's a whole Disruptor in there, and those things are expensive.
Oh yeah. And Early, he backs off, he throws down the expansion, and almost as soon as he threw it down, it got scanned. So Wonder is aware that his opponent is expanding and immediately salvages all his bunkers.
It's really a nice play there. And starting to also get like armor upgrades and just like getting like all your long-term infrastructure down as a Terran player. You know, like, okay, so I'm not going to die anytime soon, but I should probably, and yeah, because of that, I should probably get all my late game tech, or at least my mid-game tech, necessarily speaking.
Yeah. This again, this was a really wonky opener from Early. Like, it was, I like it. I guess in the end, he didn't really invest much, right? Like, he saved all his high-tech units. Like, he should be okay for the time being with his disruptors.
Yes, exactly. With these like, I really like the disruptors here because it's very hard to push into the disruptors. Because once again, you just pretend you're M-canning and you get perfect disruptor shots killing my whole army. But if you're not quite M-canning, it's still very hard to engage because it's such a good zoning tool and that potential for so much damage.
No!
Oh, the War Prism, no! It goes down, and then there's this mess. The armies are just not quite there.
It's not, they just completely miss each other, so we're gonna end up in like, kind of like a weird base trade scenario where the Chargers are gonna be able to find all these reinforcements, a free tank as well.
This is massive damage, and the Terran army has to go forward here. You cannot wait. You have to immedially go for it. Like, the more time you realize, but oh no, he barely gets it. The super battery is not quite enough to get the disruptor off. On the other side of things, and the third base goes down, but the natural is being ravaged by Early, and there's, I don't know what to look at, man. There's just so much going on both sides.
There is a lot going on, but at the end of the day, like, there's nothing that shoots up, so really Wonder could lift off if needed, but there is a recall for Early.
Oh, that recall is massive, and so is that disruptor hit. The things are trying to like maybe unload and get out of here, but there's so many Zealots. But there's just still so much left over here from Early and Wonder. Just, I don't know. His early supply is dropping rapidly.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you saw, but there was like a missed disruptor shot where he accidentally hit his own Zealots. That's what we were talking about, and as a result, like, it just didn't land on any of the Terran buyer. Once again, the disruptor does get sniped, and there's just too much here for Wonder.
Yeah, Early just losing out. Well played by Wonder. GG. What a series. What a first game.
What did we just watch? That was great.
That's such an easy replay to like just be kicking yourself for, because it's like, oh man, like I clearly as either side really, but as Protoss especially, because like, oh, I clearly should have had that game won, except oh wait, I just had one thing and not quite the right spot. Just needed a little bit more vision, and that game was mine. But still, really well played by both players. It did the game number 2.
We did. It did feel pretty, like, I almost want to say kind of evenly matched. Like, it really could have gone either way, but because the armies missed each other and we end up in that base trade scenario, it was great.
Definitely a weird one, but hey, you know, I like weird games. They're always very fun to me. It's why I play like 2 base meta versus everybody in every matchup.
Oh god, we'll see if Early keeps this up. Again, I'm not too familiar with his playstyle, especially in this matchup. So like, is this kind of a one-time thing? Is this just his go-to? Does he have something else in store for us?
Exactly. I am also very, very curious. And I loaded in, and I almost forgot that we're doing the Blizzard broke the replays. Just to break the fourth wall a little bit, because I'm like, I almost are like, all right, to transition to the introduction, because that's what I thought you were going for, but no way. I have to wait for you to get in and count us off. So
I know.
at the same time.
I also seem to be having a bug, question mark? I'm not too sure, but like, I have WCS 3.0 set as my replay interface, but I'm getting like the Pro 2021 instead.
I believe if you exit out of the game, log in, and set your thing to WCS 3.0 twice, that fixed it. At least because I used to get the bug where it used to do what's the overlay called? I used to get a split AI all the time, or split 1v1, and then like eventually after just going in and changing it enough times, eventually it started loading as WCS 3.0 or default, whatever the case I wanted it to be. But for these older replays, but sometimes they're a bit wonky, and it might be something you have to deal with, because the fix was I hit the settings enough times and eventually it brute forced its way through.
Nice. Yeah, it is going to be a bit of a stranger broadcast today, especially because thanks Blizzard, every single time like a replay finishes, we have to like restart the game client as well, because the replay is a little bit older. Like, it's great, it's beautiful. But are you ready?
I am indeed ready. Do you want to count us off?
All right. 3, 2, 1. And
all right, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll get the Terran player this time. It is the Green American of Wonder.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the American Protoss player. He's yellow. He is Early. Wait, how did this make it through the vetoes?
This is an interesting one. Well, like, neither player is Zerg, so you can't 12 pull, which is a bit of a shame, because that's the ideal strategy on this map, because it's so dang small. But like for these guys, like, what do you like? It's an attacker's paradise. I feel like I would, if I were either player, I would do something really dumb and aggressive off of one base. Because it's so tiny that like I do not enjoy playing long games on here, because you run out of bases so quickly on this map.
I find it really difficult to play against Terran on this map, just because like the early like marine tank pushes hit so much harder and faster. It just it can be a little bit daunting. But in this matchup, we'll see if these players have anything in store for us, especially because Early does have his probe out here in the center of the map.
And this probe was kind of wandered, like, because I saw like him the probe leaving. I'm like, oh, he's going to scout, and I'm like, wait a second, you don't scout with 2 probes. And so that proxied pylon, I'm very excited for, because this looks to Wonder here exactly the same. Oh, I didn't have to scout. I'm not going to lift my barracks off and have them run into the pylon under it this time. Everything was completely fine, completely dandy. But then Early just like mixing up and getting this proxy pylon here. So very exciting. I'm wondering what Early has in store for us next.
Oh my. Okay, so it is a proxy Reaper. The Reaper! No, it's gonna scout it!
Oh, this is absolute. Does he scout it? Oh, that's an absolute travesty. He even scouts that it's a double proxy robo. Man, what absolute bummer if you're Early here. You're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna like mix it up, do something aggressive on the really tiny map, but no, just like the Reaper coming and denying all the fun. Fun please have shown up and have gotten at least 1 kill.
I know, right? Like this is crazy. We almost never get to see double proxy robo. But as you said, it immediately got scouted. The Reaper's across the map. Like he's in the main base. Like probes are forced off the line.
And this is absolutely the worst possible case scenario if you are Early. You're trying to micro the probes, and there's a Stalker here to like basically deny the Reaper for now at least. But are you really going to leave the Stalker at home when that's so much of your pushing potential? And because you are kind of on a timer here, because like if Terran can get enough, then you're the one with all your tech in the middle of the map.
Exactly, right. I'm just really curious to see, like, okay, what does early do from here? So we do have an Immortal and a War Prism on the way. Wonder, though, he's already working on the bunker. He's working on his initial tank as well. It's kind of on Wonder right now to kind of mess things up and mess up his defense.
Yeah, and I feel like this is really going to come down to if like early can really, if he can micro his Immortal like semi-okay, but like if Wonder really screws anything up majorly, I feel like he will die if he does. But if he doesn't screw anything up majorly, he's like, this game is really his to win or lose. I'm restating what you said. I completely agree. I'm really waiting to see what this War Prism does, because he can drop it on the tank, or does early. Oh no, Wonder sees it so early on.
Oh god, that he does. He even has a Viking out as well, and with the Viking, I don't see early at least getting into the main with this. We'll see what he can pull off.
You know, this is poor early here, just like so hard denied, and more Vikings on the way. A second siege tank, and Wonder's just in a really nice position now. A natural is going down for early, so there's a semblance of a transition. But like again, I don't know, man. This is just such a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, definitely. I do like that he is going for the expansion. I like the idea of maybe just trying to contain your opponent to one base and then expanding behind this and macroing up. But again, it's going to be difficult to compete with what the Terran has to offer, because eventually the Terran's going to push down and just going to go across the map with what he has.
Exactly. I completely agree with you there. And now this observer that is sitting over everything gets scanned and killed. As I mentioned, it's a little bit of a cast of curse, but was so nice to see absolutely everything. And now that we have this SCV going to scout, if the SCV actually does get out and, you know, see that, hey, Natural's going up, immediately, if I were Wonder, I would pull most of the boys, unsiege the tanks, and go for the attack. Because you really can, because they're investing not that much in defense or units right now when you have been like defending this whole time. I feel like you really can put on quite a bit of pressure, as there's a Raven being made, which is very interesting. You don't see that too often.
Oh my, okay. I guess he's covering his bases, maybe afraid that, I don't know, there's going to be like a DT follow-up or something like that, just to make sure he has everything, since he knows that early is in a pretty desperate position. And it'll work as well, like with its interference matrix, you know, against something like the Colossus or the War Prism.
Exactly, and so the double Colossi are now being pumped out here from the proxied Robos. This is very, very interesting.
I love
game. As yeah, no, I love it too. Early does back up a little bit. He's like, I gotta defend my double Colossus production. Don't mind the fact that it's between my opponent's like 5th and 6th base. It's normal.
I just love it because it's like, it's so unexpected. it's like, all right, like Wonder's gonna be thinking, so what is my Protoss doing from here? I guess he's probably just expanding, backing off, right? Like, no, mate, he went straight into a robotics bay, and now he's got 2 Colossus.
Yes, 2 Colossus. The extended thermal lance is on the way as well. Extended pew pew. And man, it's just what an interesting game this is. I really am enjoying what these 2 players have created for us.
I don't know what to expect. I'll be honest, part of me wishes that he went Disruptor a little bit, just because like there's already Vikings out. Like, to be fair, there's only 2, so I don't know how much that's going to really impact the big engagement, but like Wonder already has, you know, a unit to help deal with the Colossus. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here.
Yes, it's Marine scouting. Hey, wait a sec. Is that like making something? Are you really making units out of that Robo Bay? And like, you can plausibly deny, it's, you know, just the Observer as he sends it in, and it will, I assume, eventually be scouted by this Raven Viking combo. Which, but still, it's like Colossi from the proxied Robos are not quite what you expect to see in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. You really don't. You know, the game would be completely. It would be so interesting if you could see what is coming out of a robotics bay. I'm sorry, a robo, kind of like the Stargate. But yeah, at the moment, Wonder is still unaware of the Colossus.
And no, so it's going to be quite a surprise for him. Like, he does have a lot of siege tanks, which are like kind of nice for dealing with Colossi. You really want like I don't know, disruptor. Like, I don't know. I don't have a good response to lots of siege tanks. You want the Terran to be unsieged and not there. If you're the Protoss player fighting siege tanks, maybe drop Zealots in them with Warp Prisms, like pretend it's 2005.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I'll go on.
I was just gonna say, I think he's got too many Colossus, mate. I think there's too much. I don't think this is. I think he should stop. Oh god.
Nah. I love the Colossus count. Now the trick is you only attack where there aren't siege tanks, because siege tanks outrange Colossi. These army units are stimming up the ramp, and they do get shredded by the Colossi. And now they're just, that's like a quarter of your Bioforce gone, which isn't the end of the world, because there are a lot of siege tanks there, but it's really not what you want to be looking for, as they're going to run into a Stalker here, interestingly enough.
Oh yeah, that they do. Okay, so the Colossus have been revealed. We do have 5 of them, and they are going to be starting to lay siege to this natural base. And I'm a little bit surprised. Viking production hasn't started back up. Like, wonder he just wants to try and deal with this with bio and tanks.
Yeah, no, the bio and the tanks are really an interesting way to do it. There are a couple of mines out as well, which is interesting, because generally speaking, mines aren't really what you want against Colossi. I don't really think you want factory units at all, unless you've got a bunch of tanks. But these will be kind of helpful against Zealots charging in and that sort of thing. So they're not a bad unit to have. But you'd really rather be making as much bio as you can, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As we do see, early seems like he's going to be backing off now. Again, I really wish he's making more Colossus. He has another one queued up. He's supply blocked at the moment. I wanted to switch. Ideally, you get maybe 4 Colossus, maybe 5. Okay, sure, but then you start disruptor production, right? Because you don't want to be hard counted by something like Vikings. You still want that AOE output.
Exactly, and it's the wonder coming in and seeing, oh hey, you're still making Colossi. Because 5 isn't enough. Let's get 8, I guess. As Wonder is taking a 3rd base here. The SCVs do come down, and now it's turning into a bit of a longer game, and where these Colossi, maybe they will get their value as we finally see a disruptor being made. It's over halfway done. It's been a little bit, but I think these disruptors are okayly timed, because early hasn't been attacked yet, so
yeah, I mean, I'm surprised by how passive Wonder is being. I mean, I guess I don't blame him early on because of how the game started, but he's just been staying at home, turtling up, teching up. We do see the Ghost Academy going down as well, but I feel like early could definitely be taking advantage of this a little bit more and expanding a little bit more aggressively.
Exactly. I feel like both players have been a little bit too timid this game, because if I were Wonder, I would have seen oh hey, you've got a double proxy robo thing, and now you're backing up. He's back into Colossi. I just noticed.
Yeah, I just noticed as well. He canceled the disruptors. Oh wait, no, sorry. He made one. There's one in there, and then he just started Colossus again.
No normal things. Yeah, I've got 1 disruptor, so you can have your very small mechanic cosplay, and then you just make infinity Colossi. That's the new meta.
What is happening right now? Okay, all right, here we go. The armies are going to collide here, and oh my god, immediately the disruptor gets taken out.
I know getting that disruptor taken out really early on is quite painful for early. You kind of want that for the massive potential, because it just forced so much micro more than anything else out of your Terran opponent, as he doesn't even kill the robotics. He just backs up.
Okay, he takes that. It looks like the production will be going down. Meanwhile, early has to buy a little bit more time. Charge is still on the way.
Charge just barely finishing up now, and the scan will see that the Zealots are moving a little bit faster, so you can kind of tell. But there just is not that much high-tech units at home. There is a bunch of gateways and a robotics bay. There's no way to actually make any more Colossi, so what you see is what you get. That is a terrifying amount of siege tanks.
That it is. Meanwhile, there is that anti-armor missile does go down on the majority of the army, and it looks like Wonder is being pushed back.
And no, I'm a bit surprised. Just the Stalkers and the Immortals on the ground really powering through. As the Vikings, they did good work, but there were just so many Colossi. It was hard to really damage them down them all. And I feel like there might have been a bit of missed macro with not perfectly focused firing down the Colossi with the Vikings, as Wonder does start to push early back.
That's
making progress.
Yeah. Surprisingly, again, I do feel like Zealots would help this out so much to push into those tanks. But yeah, early he's not feeling confident, especially because of the amount of Vikings. So he does back off, does expand.
I know this is a very interesting one. Early expanding, Wonder's still sitting on 3 bases, though. And you can sit on 3 bases for like a while, not really that long. At some point, you do have to take another base, and if you're taking another base and your opponent has like that extra bit of mining, that's really always a feels bad moment.
Definitely, as it looks like okay, early is going to be pushing in here into these tanks, and oh god, he has to be so careful here or almost loses. Does lose the Colossus.
And this one Colossus goes down, and there really isn't a good way to remake those Colossus, as the command center did have to be lifted for just a little bit. Which is a bit of a shame, but what can you do when you're threatened with losing? You really have no other choice but to pull the plays, at least for a little bit. As the armies are really just kind of positioning and charting around, trying to find a good angle and really deny bases.
Yeah, and Early's really struggling because like he would benefit so much by with a War Prism to like help like reinforce this army and warp in more Zealots, but he doesn't have a Robo and he hasn't rebuilt it. It's
He's got a Temple Archive, so he can make Stormy Boys. But you really need the Warp Prism as well, because you kind of just that like instant reinforcement is so helpful to have as a Protoss player, because it just makes your pushes so much stronger.
That it does, but again, like Robo production just is not there for early. Meanwhile, Wonder is sneaking across the map with a little bit of a drop, and there isn't really much at all at home to defend.
No, the getting a couple of probes is super nice, as a whole bunch of probes goes down there. As the recall does get forced out, and this drop just boosts away instantly.
Oh my god, yeah. Nothing has gone down here so far for Wonder, at least for this drop, but the drop's being hunted down. What?
Oh no, and he missed it. Oh my gosh.
How? My god.
And it's going back in for more damage at the natural. Like, what is this? There's a shield battery and a cannon there, so it does make life a little bit difficult, but he just focuses down the pylon.
That he does. Yeah, and if you recall is on cooldown, so everything has to come back home to defend. At the same time, Wonder is pushing over towards that northern base.
And these Colossi are massively out of position. This was a great sign. Wonder seeing his units die to those Colossi means that he can get this base for free. He just has to push in, siege his tanks, siege your Liberators if you got them. And really, this is like a forfeit base. Early had his units somewhat out of position, like didn't deal with the drop that well, and suddenly goes down a base and a good number of probes.
That he does, and it's so difficult pushing up a ramp into all these tanks, but it looks like Early's going for it.
As he goes for the flank, goes for a double-sided attack, really blinks forward and gets like quite a big amount of the tanks. There's still one left, and there are just so many Marauders, and he's focusing down the Colossi. 2 go down, and then on the other side, 2 more are going to go down because they have no buffer. The Storms are pretty good, but are they enough though?
Wow, it looks like they are not. The Vikings are going to be landing on top of everything. Everything is cleaned up. GG gets called.
What a game. Wonder taking game number 2 as well, and man, that was just what a series.
Honestly, like it felt like Early was ahead for a lot of that. I'll be real here, like he was ahead in supply. It's just there were a couple of little things that were messing him up. You know, he wasn't able to reinforce across the map, so he couldn't apply pressure. He kind of wasted a recall, so he couldn't defend his bases. That was unfortunate, but well played by Wonder.
Yeah, no, both players have played that really well. Unfortunately, one of them does have to beat the other. As we do have another series. I believe it's Serial versus Ruiyichi, right?
Yeah. Ruiyichi, I believe.
Ruiyichi. Just want to make sure I'm getting the right game loaded up.
But well done, Wonder. Early's in the chat as well. Early, I like your style. You know, you're a unique player. I think I can say that.
Yes, that was very, very fun. To watch, and I really hope your other series are as entertaining as that was, because that was really, really fun.
Definitely. Oh boy, as we are getting set up for our next series, it is going to be our first Zerg of the day.
Yes. Serial with the very interesting in-game name. Is going to be our Zerg player. And I'm really curious what his style is because he's not a player who I've heard too much about. I don't think I've run into him on ladder either.
Yeah, I'm only familiar with him because he's a regular in NA Contender, but I haven't seen him outside of that. Oh god, and I just I just saw the in-game name. God damn it.
Yeah, no. So I'll let you decide if you want to censor that or not. But do you want to count us in whenever you're ready?
Oh boy, 3, 2, 1.
All right, starting up in the top left-hand corner, give it up for the red Protoss player. His name is Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the Canadian blue Zerg player representing Archangel Gaming with a bit of a controversial name. He is Serial. Shaking my head.
Yes. Yes, I'm shaking my head. That just okay. Interesting name for yourself. Somewhat understandable from a certain point of view, as okay, the probe does not get the hatch block off. I wanted to make sure that didn't happen before I finished my thought because because these maps have been around for a little bit, but they're very good maps, and so like I'm not too terribly upset with that, and I don't understand why other people would be because they're very fun maps.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while now, but when this map pool was introduced, like, a lot of the maps were more favored towards, like, Protoss and Terran, but that was also, like, balance-wise, like, Zerg has been doing really well for quite some time, but at the same time, I don't know if this has to do with maybe the fact that we didn't get a new map pool with the new season, either.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. It's like I wish there was a new map pool as well, but like at the same time, it's Blizzard is a small indie company. You can't expect too terribly much out of them.
Exactly. Like we can't expect them to release a new 200 megabyte patch and not break the replays, right? Like that's not.
Yeah, no, like keep having old replays be able to load in without having to log on to an old game and watch them by yourself as opposed with other people, like small indie company guys. We can't expect too much out of them.
The technology is just not there. It's not there, mate.
Exactly. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it in 2003 with our land.
Hopefully, we'll see. Oh god! As we are getting into our first PvZ, and we were praising Ruiyichi a fair bit. He's up there as one of the best North American Protosses. Of course, like to be fair, there are a lot of North American Protosses, like Nina, Neeb, Estrella, but like Ruiyichi, he has been slowly working his way up over the past couple of years.
And he's been playing very well, and very interesting, a Twilight opener, something you don't see too terribly often out of your average Protoss player. But other than that, everything looks very normal. It's a depth into Stalker, which is fairly common, and you see the Stalker will do a full wall, so Zerg can't really get a scout off. But with these Zerglings in position, he might be able to like look for a proxy of some kind. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because this map's a bit hard to do run-bys with.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see if he's able to do so. We'll see if Serial goes into the main base with one of his overlords, as at the moment he's unaware of what the opening is. He doesn't know that, of course, it isn't a Stargate opening.
Exactly, and the overlords are like somewhat nicely positioned, just like at general info, and he does see the probe coming home and the depth still on the map. So Serial really does know like basically everything except for what the tech is. You know that it's something, but ooh.
I love it.
Fear Dragon would be really happy here.
I was really curious because I didn't see too many more gateways being thrown down. I'm like, this isn't going to be glaives. What is this? And there it is. The Dark Shrine gets thrown down. And now it's more imperative that Serial gets in there and scouts.
And the Serial, he is sending in an Overlord, so we'll get there. But is the Stalker going to be able to deny the scout? We'll have to see. As there's a Warp Prism heading out on the way, but the Overlord has so much health, and he's going to get there in time.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, it has seen the Robo, and it looks like it should go in far enough to see the Dark Shrine before it goes down. It does see it.
He does indeed see it, but it's like a bit late to react. And he saw it, right?
Yeah. He quote unquote, the Overlord saw it. I don't know if Serial saw it.
The Overlord saw it. The Overlord knows what's up. The Overlord's like, hey, I've got a building that looks like this. And every Zerg player knows, oh, in that case, it's the Dark Shrine. Or he's making a Spore Crawler. As a Protoss, but you got a couple of Adepts here going in on one side, and the Lings, they get this around, and poor Serial, completely outplayed, I guess, here. With the Spores just so late, he's good enough to lose the third base for basically free.
Exactly, there is no lair, so there is no mobile detection whatsoever. These DTs, there's nothing to stop them. This base is forfeit.
Exactly. I'd love to see another warp in of BTs here, just to like really add on the pressure. And eventually you get 6 Archons out of the deal, which are pretty good units to have anyways. And that layer is so late. And I really do not have high hopes for these Lings that are across the map. They're going to delay the third base quite a bit, which is nice, but there's a depth in the stalker in the walls. Like, that's not the trade you want.
Yeah, exactly. The Lings, they delay the third, which is nice, but at the cost of your own third, I don't know if it's really worth it. We'll see what Serial does from here. Is he going to attempt to retake that third base, or is he just gonna go 2 base from here?
I really feel like it's a bit of a tough call here, because you kind of have to do something. There has a play has to be made. You can't just sit here, I guess. But like the play you want to make is very, very limited, because like there's a whole lot of options. Like you maybe go for mutas or something, really try and catch him off guard, but that's a bit difficult considering how late his lair was. Maybe a Nidus, but I think I called it.
Oh,
that's fire going down.
Yeah, I love this. I was actually about to say that this may not be necessary, because Serial, he just got a kill on that third. That was a kill, not a cancel. Like, he's been able to delay this quite a bit, but we do see that he is going for that Spire, so maybe he can catch Ruiyichi off guard.
Yes, and it still looks like that Serial is playing a kind of normal game, like trying to take a third base. Has got a lot of roaches and Lings. Like, oh, it could be droning here. I could like maybe be hiding something for a big attack, but like secretly he's going mutas, and I really like the muta play. I'm a big muta memer myself, and in games where Protoss does not have a Stargate, it is so hard to deal with like a really big flock of mutas.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Ruiyichi, he will have like some response. Like, he is working on Blink, so he will have Blink Stalkers and +1 as well. But as you said, like, it's so difficult to make sure that they're in position and that you can actually catch up with those Mutalisks. And at the moment, yeah, Ruiyichi still has no idea. He's going across the map with his War Prism, so maybe if he gets into the main, but it's unlikely.
It's going to be a very tough one, and the mutas are on their way. 8 mutas now in production as this War Prism, I feel like it's going to get a kill or cancel on the 4th base here. Or is he just going to dive straight into the natural? Ooh, Is it? Okay, it's just backing off, I guess. Interesting play there as the army of Ruiyichi does start to move out. On the other side, we do have a lot of sentries here, which aren't that good against mutas.
Yeah. What I will say though is, because there are a lot of DTs being morphed in, they're all turning into Archons. Like, if they meet up with the main army, there's no way that Serial can contend with it.
And really, you have to avoid the Archons. You can micro against them. Mutas technically do share a range with Archons, but you have to like micro so perfectly. And like while you're spending all your APM on that, you might just be losing everywhere else where it matters. And so it's a really tough fight here if you are Serial, because it's so hard to hold on here without the mutas, but with the mutas, you die to Archons.
Exactly. So he does send his mutas across the map, which I think is the right call, you know, to deal some damage. But at the end of the day, like, how is he going to deal with the main army? Like, he has the high ground, I guess. He has a decent arc. Maybe if the transfuses are good enough. The mutas are forced home.
And the mutas back up. A couple of stalkers did shoo them away, and he lost one of them. And like this army gets an overlord kill, gets the 4th base kill, and it's like, all right, so what now? Because really the onus is on Serial to do something, because this army like doesn't die, and as long as a base race hasn't been initiated, it's really hard for the Zerg to do much of anything. But there is the insta recall on the mutas as they do something, and they have to engage into stalkers, which is really the worst case scenario.
Yeah, at the same time, there is a bit of a Ling run by at the third base of Ruiyichi, so nicely done. He's dealing with a lot of economic damage. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi's trying to get up that ramp, but Serial, he's there to stop him.
Yes, and the Zerglings are still doing damage on the other side of the map. They're have done a lot, and finally they're going to get cleaned up by a group of stalkers, but I feel like now at this point would be a good time for the mutas to dive back in, but they're not quite in the perfect position as these stalkers do have to blink back, and the army's trying to regroup at the third for Ruiyichi.
Yeah, honestly, this was like maybe best case scenario for Serial. Like, he was able to defend, deal economic damage, and force Ruiyichi to back off, so now Serial can breathe a little bit.
And Serial's getting an absolutely massive Roach Ravager army, nearly up like 50 supply. Is our Zerg player here, but that is inflated supply. The Roaches, they're like good units right now, but they're not good long term. Eventually, they do fall off and become like absolutely bad units. These mutas are just getting so much damage here.
Oh my god, this is an insane amount of damage by these mutas. I did not think that he would be able to get this much value with them. But I completely agree with what you said. Like, Ruiyichi, his upgrade just finished. He has so many sentries, so he can cut up the army. There's only what, 4 Ravagers with this, so and he just wastes the biles as well. So he's not going to be able to use them to deal with the force fields. But Ruiyichi, he backs off.
Yeah, no, Ruiyichi, I feel like was in a really nice position. Like, one thing is, if he had these stalkers with his army, or at least pressuring someone, or like maybe pressuring the fourth base as he postured with this army. Oh no, engagement starting to happen, as I don't think Ruiyichi is quite set up for this yet. His stalkers are meeting up, and now I feel like is the time, but microing on 2 screens at once is going to be so difficult. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so far the force fields are pretty good. The Ravager piles are not going for the force fields. He's trying to hit the army instead, and now I feel like, yeah, the Roach Ravager army is being torn apart.
And it was just the blink forward. This is an absolute horrible choke to fight in for the Zerg player, because the Protoss units will just all outrange your Roaches. And now the mutas are doing a little bit of something, although there aren't that many left of them. So a couple of stalkers back up, and the army just goes forward and is going to try and get a kill on this third base.
Yeah, exactly. And there are reinforcing Lings, and this is half of the army of Ruiyichi, so maybe Serial can try and engage with this. He's trying to get on top of the Immortals.
Yeah, and he sort of succeeds. He tries biling down, but doesn't really get much of anything. He maybe gets 1 sentry there, and these just force fields are doing so much to prevent Serial from getting basically anything done. The stalkers blink forward, and once again, Serial is kind of on the edge here.
Yeah, exactly. He's forced to pull the boys. But we were talking about it, like the Protoss army of Ruiyichi was just so superior. Sure, a bile lands, but it isn't enough to take out the War Prism, and with that, the entire army of Serial has fallen.
And Serial maybe in a little bit of a shock here, because like it is his right to try and fight back in this game, and he was very behind from the opening. It's like a bad scout read here, and suddenly it's like it's difficult position to come back from. But like Ravager Bile is trying to do something here.
Yeah. But it's just not going to be enough as Ruiyichi pushes into the natural. GG gets called.
Well played by both players there. I really liked what Serial did to make a comeback. As someone who often ends up in weird base races with mutas myself, one thing you sort of have to do is you have to make him look at 3 places at once. Because in general, if you're like a StarCraft, if you're your average Protoss player, you can kind of focus on 2 things at once. But trying to do 3 things at once, having like mutas in your main, a Zergling at your third, and like my small army engaging your main base army, like if you just have the units for it, it's really, really powerful. But like he was just kind of in a position where I don't think he quite had the army count to ever really get going on that sort of thing, and so he was just in a sort of a disadvantaged position for a while that game.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by how Serial was able to get back into it, right? Like his Muta and Ling harass was actually insane. Like essentially Ruiyichi was on 1 base mining. Like everything in the main was dead, everything in the natural was dying as well. Like he was doing such a good job at harassing and buying himself time to the point where we pointed it out. He was up like almost 50 supply, maybe even more than that. But it came down to that awful fight in the center of the map, right, where he kind of got surrounded by the Protoss. You know, he wasn't battling the force fields, like he just kind of got caught out of position. If he had been, again, if that fight never had happened and maybe he found a better fight or stayed a little bit more defensively, maybe things would have turned out differently. But regardless, like, I am impressed by how he was able to get himself out of a really awful situation.
Exactly. He played that so well. I'm very curious what his plan is for the next game. Does he like try for standard play again, or does he like go for something aggressive? We'll have to see.
We'll see. Hopefully he doesn't lose the third to DTs again. Hopefully. Oh boy. As we are going to be loading in to game number 2, it is going to be on Lightshade. And mate, are you ready?
I am. Do you want to count us in?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, give it up for the Protoss player representing Team Exxon. It is Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is blue. He is representing Archangel Gaming. It is Serial.
Yes, we do. It looks to be fairly normal from both sides of things, so we can, wait like a minute because Protoss builds. Or wait, no, he gets blocked. I didn't notice. I'm not paying attention. Oh, that's really horrible for Serial here. That's like, honestly, the most tilting thing is when like you go for a 16 hatch and you get blocked anyways. It's just so frustrating.
Feels bad, man. All right, now's the time where Ruiyichi goes Glaive Adepts, right?
Yes, now's the perfect time you go like, all right, so I went DTs in the first game, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Glaive Adepts into DTs the second game.
I mean, we'll see what Ruiyichi has to offer here. I'm curious. Like, again, I haven't seen many of his PVZs recently, so I don't. There are like some Protoss players who, surprisingly enough, don't go for Void Ray openings, and they embrace the more Twilight Council style. It's just, more of what they enjoy doing. So I'm really curious to see if Ruiyichi does that. Like, is he going to keep going for the Twilight Council, or will he embrace the new Void Ray?
Because Void Ray openers are very good, especially right now. But I feel like a lot of the time where I play with Ruiyichi, he's been a bit more leaning on those Adepts and those Twilight openers, and so I'm very curious to see if he does like that old Zest build that I mentioned of Adepts into DTs, or if he goes for like some standard Adepts, or maybe even pulls out a really old build like some Charge All-In or something.
Yeah, just go Stargate like triple Oracle into like Blink Stalkers or something, like something we haven't seen in a long time. Why not?
Exactly. Those old builds, like, they're not like bad per se, they're just out of the meta. Because they're difficult to pull off in the case like do you remember when 4 Oracle was a thing? Sorry, I just like remembered this. Like, when Protoss were just like, I'm just gonna make 4 Oracles and then call it a day.
Yeah. It was disgusting. Yeah, I remember that.
And it was so hard for me because like I'd see 4 Oracles and be like, oh, so it's going like double Stargate Oracle. Okay, let me like get my anti double Stargate Oracle defense, because that was also a build. But no, you just made 4 Oracles and like killed me.
yeah, they just didn't even care. They'd hunt down your queens. It was a terrifying time. But we'll see what happens here, because so far it is the same Twilight Council into that Robo. Are we gonna see another Dark Shrine?
Maybe it's starting to look like, oh wait, no, I spoke too soon. That is Glaive Adepts here out of Ruiyichi. Also, okay, I was gonna say, do you think the wall looks a bit funny? But he just fixed it with the gateway. Because like that's normally not where you put the stalker. I don't think. Usually it's like between two of the buildings.
Yeah. I have not seen a wall like this before. I assume that it's a tight wall between the cyber core and the pillar. Oh, now he plugged it up. Okay, wasn't. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was looking, I'm like, this just looks really wrong. But like the speedlings are on the way, and there's the stalker to kind of plug the hole, but you really have to like plug it with a gateway or something, and it's Stalker just barely buys enough time. And this is a massive amount of lanes, and lings keep coming in. Oh, there's drones with the attack too. What an interesting game to play. And will these shield batteries be able to keep these buildings alive for long enough with these leagues just trying to do so much damage? Like, this is a really interesting strat here out of Serial.
Yeah, that it is, but you know what? The second shield battery does finish up. Overcharge is always available in case Ruiyichi needs it, and now there are already 3 deaths. That's it. GG gets called.
Oh man, a poor Serial. He just like that's such a interesting way to an interesting decision to make, because like I do like those sorts of builds also, but like just when they get scouted out and like when you're trying to link flood and they're not quite able to get that link flood off, it's always a shame. But really well played by Ruiyichi to have that like super tight defense, even though he didn't have the most like ideal defensive weapon versus it, because ideally you have a Stargate versus something link flood because you can destroy your Oracle or have your Void Rays kill all the Zerglings without a sweat. But Glaive Adepts are a pretty good second choice.
Yeah, I don't blame Serial whatsoever, because I'm pretty sure, because he had an Overlord watching that wall the entire time. I'm pretty sure he looked at that wall and he's like, that's not a wall. he's like, that doesn't look right? Just like us, you know? It's like the Stalker's in the wrong place, like there's the holes all over the place. So he goes for the link flood, and you have Ruiyichi, like his haphazard defense where he was just able to plug it up and get the secondary wall. Like it was too good, even though he himself didn't really know that was coming.
Yeah, really well done by Ruiyichi to like stay cool under pressure, like really keep things from going too horribly wrong, as we do, I believe, have a TVP next, which I'm very excited for.
That we are going to be getting into the match which has the winner of both the series we've seen. It will be Ruiyichi versus Wonder, some American on American action, and we'll see how this goes. Again, I'm really impressed with how Serial played. Like, even though he got 2-0'd, like I don't think he played out the series too poorly. I think he made some excellent decisions actually, like overall. But here we go. We are getting into match number 3.
I need 1 second. Sorry. I accidentally loaded the wrong replay. I loaded Wonderverse early again because that was such a good series. Apparently, I wanted to see it twice.
All good. Yep, as we are getting ready, of course, for the people watching, if you want to support this tournament in any way you can, ! Matcherino in the chat, as there is a Matcherino page for NA Apprentice. It helps fund not just NA Apprentice Code A, but also Code S as well.
Yeah, really, it's such a fun tournament to have as well, especially because because Sugar Kid does like really nice work for the NA scene, and like these like tournaments going on, it's always something for not necessarily the Neebs and Scarlets of the world to play in, but something for us little guys as well. As I am finally loaded in, so whenever you're ready.
Beautiful. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, representing Team Red and Team Exxon, give it up for the Protoss player of Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the American Terran player, the Green Terran, representing Team Remember the Game. It is Wonder. And for the first time, we're here on Romanticide.
Yeah, so our map bingo continues to get a little bit smaller. Maybe for today's group, we'll get all 7 maps off of map bingo. We already got Submarine and Lightshade out early, so that's hopeful for our map bingo players at home.
Oh yeah, I'd be very surprised if we don't see Jagannatha later on and some of the other more standard maps that we usually see. So yeah, we have some nice variety today.
Yes, well, that's always nice to see. Is we do have a very early scout by Ruiyichi. I feel like Ruiyichi's a little bit favored in this series today, and so like just playing it a little bit safe, going for the early probe scouts, and really just trying to see what he can get done. As he does a little bit of damage to the barracks SCV, and then just decides to go home, I guess.
Oh yeah,
as things are starting to look kind of normal.
Yeah, like I would tend to agree that overall, like going into this group, I feel like Ruiyichi is the clear favorite to come out first. But that's also like why I'm so heavily impressed by Serial in his series. Like again, even though it was a 2-0, like it wasn't completely one-sided by any means.
Exactly. Just really well done, as this probe does a good job delaying that CC for quite a while. Eventually does go down though, and the probe will have to leave because you don't want to die to like a Marine or a Reaper or anything. Or is that? Hang on a second. Yeah. That's not your base.
There is something out in the center of the map, and hey, we got a proxy factory.
You know who proxies a factory? In 2018, I think, or it might have been 2017. But like, other than him, who proxies a factory?
Right, like this doesn't make any sense because like normally if it's like a Hellion drop, then you have the factory at home and then you proxy the starport, right? Like what is really the purpose of this?
I feel like alright, so there's a really old build where and I don't think this is it, but like you'd make a bunch of Marines at home off of like maybe a reactor, and you get like a tech lab eventually and like a liberator. And then you, with like a bunch of like units at a really random time, you try and kill your Protoss opponent. It wasn't the best all-in, but it was like I thought it was kind of good and like super early Legacy of the Void, as Adept is getting everything denied scouting-wise, cannot see anything going on, which is fairly normal for a Protoss, but like still it's kind of You'd rather have some info.
This is just so weird. So I guess the purpose of this is that the Protoss player won't see the Hellions leave the base? Question mark. As since the Hellions being made out on the map. Oh my god, is Wonder gonna take another base? The SCV, where are you going? Is he gonna ninja? No. Okay.
He might be making like a fusion core or something, but like, what's he doing over here? Because like, he's out of the way, and like, there are Hellions being made, so it's looking like to be a Hellion drop. But these devs like really not finding any like scouting info, as like the walls have constantly been up, and I'm really curious what to see, if anything, if this SCV ends up doing anything on the map. Because I would love to see. Oh no, it gets in the Adept.
Oh no! Oh god! F's in the chat. The Adept gets into the main base. The wall was down. Sees that everything is missing. Ay.
And it's even like gonna stay here, get so many SCV kills. Those SCVs are really not at like an ideal health, and it can just go back in for more, as there is a Hellion drop on the other side of things, and it does have to boost out of there, and the Adept gets cleaned up, yeah, but like still, as Ruiyichi, you're really in the driver's seat here.
Oh yeah, this Hellion drop hasn't done anything yet, but the Hellions do dive back in, and it looks like they will get some worker kills.
That's 7 so far, and they're not done yet. One more excellent shot goes. Can he make it 12? Looks like it, but I don't think it'll be much more than that, as this Hellion does finally die after an unlucky 13. And what a weird game. That like worked too. It's like
Yeah, like that's really well done by Wonder. Like despite being scouted, despite the initial drop being pushed away, he was able to kind of juke his opponent, dive back in, and deal some decent damage.
Yes, really nice job. Ruiyichi is a little bit in a worse off position now. He does have chrono, and so he can like chrono out probes really quickly, and like I feel like Wonder is not in the position after such an aggressive opening to put on pressure anytime soon. So I do really like to see this third base going down, a couple more gateways, maybe get a forge as well. Ooh, that's another good option, the robotics bay coming out of Ruiyichi.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because, like, sure, Wonder dealt all this damage, but he also hindered his production because for a lot of that, like, his factory and his starport were in the air floating back home. So, like, there is no real follow-up behind this. Like, we can see Stim and Combat Shields is only just starting. +1 is still a ways away, so there's nothing to really stop Ruiyichi from expanding and from taking up.
Exactly. Like, I might even would like to see a fourth base here out of Ruiyichi.
Oh my god.
Just because like there's that little map presence here out of the Terran, and like yeah, it's gonna like probably go down, but like that forces Terran to siege up so much farther back and start pushing your base. Supposed to like maybe if you only have 3 bases. And I feel like a 400 mineral investment is like not bad for that, and you can maybe catch up on probes a bit more as you wait for that. As this, and Ruiyichi just has such good map vision.
Oh yeah,
Just like observers everywhere.
They are all over the place in case a drop does happen. Ruiyichi even being active with his stalkers in the center of the map, as well as he does have blink. And I mean, Wonder, it looks like he's getting ready for a drop. You know, his upgrades are about to line up with this, which is great. But I imagine as soon as he leaves his base, Ruiyichi's gonna spot it.
And these stalkers are just like really the good denial, and I believe they do have blink, so they can, if they do get into any trouble, just blink away, as that is a massive drop that's getting loaded up. But
it's good. Ruiyichi knows. Yeah, he's gonna try and get him. Oh god, he gets one.
Gets one and gets out of there. One stalker for a medevac and a couple of units. That is a trade I will take every day of the week, as these stalkers are just putting on so much pressure, and these drops really can't do anything. Again, this map vision really coming in clutch here for the Ruiyichi fans out there.
Yeah, definitely. We do see Wonder, though. He is just pushing out with everything that he has. He unbursts his Widow Mines and brings them along as well. But we'll see. We'll see how long it takes him, or what kind of defense Ruiyichi will have at home. Ooh, Ruiyichi's third. There are no shield batteries ready.
You know, these lack of shield batteries might come back to bite Ruiyichi, but he sees this attack nice and early, so he does get time to get in position for it. And there is a Colossi out. And Colossi are pretty good, but these Zealots are jumping in on that Terran army as the mines get burned nice and early, and they go off on not that many Zealots. So good job by Ruiyichi to not like tank too much, but he still has run out of a Zealot front wave. Oh, the Stalker flank, I love it. Catching and denying the Doom drop.
Exactly, like Wonder was getting ready to pick up and just get out of there, but the Stalkers denied that and forced the fight once again, taking so many Colossus shots to the face.
And Ruiyichi just like has to boost out of there. He's gonna try maybe once again, but there's the vision. The Zealots even see the drop before the observer does.
Yeah, just the vision just of Ruiyichi is just so good this game. He's aware of the Doom drop, looking to try and intercept. Okay, Wonder, he does back off.
You know, and it was very interesting. The units that got there first to deal with the drop were the 2 units that didn't shoot out these Zealots, Colossi. So they're very intimidating force, but the Stalkers would have to blink in to catch it. But everything does work out. No one's lost units yet. But man, this poor Wonder, man, he's getting absolutely everything denied. He really just has to like wait and maybe build up enough of a Viking count. And as I say that, he is getting a second starport.
Yeah, I love it as well, but I feel like it's a little bit too late. Ruiyichi's already outside the front door. Meanwhile, Wonder, he just sent his Widow Mines across the map. He's looking to try and drop his opponent, but that means there's no factory units whatsoever to help defend.
Oh no, speaking of no defense, a bunch of Zealots get into the main base and are absolutely ravaging it. 7 go, 8 go down so far, and the Warp Prism look like it is going to be getting out, maybe? Oh, that's cutting it really close.
Oh god, it's so close, but it looks like it should be able to escape. Oh, but the Vikings are gonna hunt it down. Maybe.
Maybe, as we do have a massive engagement here at the third base, as just like SCVs has to be pulled, and I feel like this is do or die time for Wonder. He really has to survive this fight well.
Oh, that he does. It looks like he have focused on one Colossus. The other does go down as well, so only one Colossus remaining for Ruiyichi, and it looks like Wonder has enough.
And no Wonder just barely survives. He loses like 28 SCVs, but like you can rebuild off of this. The Warp Prism goes down. Everything's really starting to like eventually get cleaned up, but down 30 SCVs to 66. So this is going to be a deep hill to climb.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where Wonder, he won the fight, but at the cost of his economy, essentially, and now he's forced to do the same to Ruiyichi. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi, he's on 4 bases. He has his Colossus out. He still doesn't have any shield batteries. He actually has 0 shield batteries. I don't know what he has against them. They help so much in terms of defense. So this push is still a little bit scary.
You know, this is especially Terran just gets like such scary armies, and there's a decent, but if not spectacular, Viking count here out of Wonder. And he's making more Liberators now, actually, which is an interesting decision. I feel like, he gets a Colossi for free as the fight begins. What a way to start that fight.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Vikings are focusing down another Colossus, and it looks like the third Colossus is going to be focused down as well.
Yes, and there's so many medevacs here. This army just has so much sustainability. All the Zealots are starting to get cleaned up, and Wonder's in just such a nice position here. I wonder what's like...
Yeah, like, what does Ruiyichi do from here? Like, everything's being focused down, but it looks like he just barely warps in enough Zealots and just barely holds onto his fourth base.
Yes. Oh, and Ruiyichi, well played, gets the game won. What a game that was. That was, like, such well done by both players. But then, like, suddenly one thing goes, like, kind of wrong, and it's an interesting game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Again, I'm impressed by how Wonder was able to play that out. Like, despite his his initial drop was kind of like blundered a little bit, like it was scouted and it got spotted, but he was still able to deal some damage. Yeah, just really back and forth.
No, definitely. And keep in mind, the game started with a proxied factory and starport in the middle of the map that turned into a Hellion drop.
Yeah, and I like personally, I would say that Wonder was for the most part winning the majority of the fights, or at least trading more efficiently. It's just a shame that his base defense wasn't really there. Like, if it was, then he could have continued to play that out. But the situation, because of all the economic damage that he was sustaining, like he was all in at the end there.
That was definitely unfortunate, especially because like he got the Warp Prism down to almost 0 health, but like almost 0 health isn't quite the same as exactly 0 health. And unluckily, he just wasn't quite able to like clean up that Warp Prism, and so losing like 30 something SCVs to Zealots and like a small SCV pool is really not what you want to see out of the Terran hero.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. As we are getting set up for game number 2. Are you ready?
I am indeed. You want to count us in?
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And here we have spawning in the top right-hand corner, representing Team Exxon. Give it up for the red Protoss player of Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the American Terran player representing Team Remember the Game. It is Wonder.
Yes, both players going for fairly standard openers. Nothing too crazily proxy just yet. But the game is young. There's plenty of time for proxies to develop.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure Wonder is aware of who Ruiyichi is. There's a reason why he opened up a little bit cheeky in game number 1. I'd be surprised if he doesn't do something else a little bit cheeky here in game number 2, as Ruiyichi is the more renowned player. But again, like, despite that, like, he hasn't had an easy time here. Like, it feels pretty competitive in this group.
Yeah, no, this group has definitely been very, very close. And, like, I feel like while Ruiyichi is a small favorite to get out of the group, I'll openly admit that's my opinion. I feel like it's, like, a very, very small favorite. Like, if he had 3-2, or, like, it's best of 3, so, like, 2-1 map scores this whole series, I would not be at all surprised. As we do have the probe once again doing a nice job of delaying the CC out of Wonder once again.
Oh yeah, this for quite some time as well, but finally does get his natural down.
It's really well done. Eventually it does happen, but still it's nice to get that little bit of an annoying sound, and just maybe they misplaced it a little bit, so you can tilt them nice and early on, which is always nice as SCV comes home. And now you've got a Reaper out on the map. Maybe we'll get some cool scouting info. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, as the probe actually does dodge the Reaper, so Ruiyichi is going to be able to sneak in once again, be a little bit annoying as he has regained his shields, but Wonder is ready and waiting with another SCV.
Yes, and that is a fight that the SCV will win. The probe does not have enough hit points to do that, as the Reaper does finally get across, and will it see? Oh, it does see the Twilight Council. Another Twilight build out of Ruiyichi.
Ooh, nicely done there. Yeah, Ruiyichi was not in position to deny the Reaper, so he does scout. Oh, and does get away.
Yes, really well done. With 1 hit point too. Oh, that's such a feels bad man moment. But back in the Terran camp of things, we got a factory that is nearing completion, a bunker which is done, and so really Wonder's in a nice position to do basically anything he wants here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that the factory isn't in the main, but it is here this game. Same with the starports, so things are a little bit more standard as he does go for the 1-1-1.
Yes, and the even reactoring out Marines gets a single Hellion to help out with a bit of scouting, and he's probably going to get a Tech Lab next. I'm very curious. This is looking awfully like a Raven build. I'm wondering if he's going to open Raven, or if he's going to do something a bit more standard like Liberty.
Yeah. I mean, Wonder does have options. He could also go Banshee as well if he wishes. We'll see what the swap looks like in the end. Meanwhile, on the side of Ruiyichi, again, pretty standard, right? He's going for a Blink Stalker opening, which is kind of like the bread and butter you see, as it's ideal to defend against things like this, against like Widowmine drops or Ravens or Banshees. Oh, Hellion sneaks in.
Oh, just barely not. Oh no, the force field is perfectly placed. Everything goes down. Man, Ruiyichi, like, that's like such a perfect force field.
It's this thing where Ruiyichi SimCity looks like sometimes questionable, but like it's like he knows though. Like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Exactly. It's like perfectly calculated. He measured out like that's exactly one force field, and it's a hard wall. Whereas, I feel like that Cybercore might not necessarily be a hard wall. So third base is finally being taken here out of Ruiyichi. And from Wonder, getting that kind of corner third CC, little bit hidden. Interesting.
And it was in fact a Raven opening from Wonder, so he is focusing on getting that out. We'll see if he just keeps that at home and stores up that energy, or if he decides at some point to go across the map and harass with his auto turrets.
Yes, it is an interesting decision to make, because like you kind of want the energy in the fight to like make the Dorito cannon go off, maybe disable a Colossi or two if they have them. But like you also getting harassment damage is just, it feels so nice, and especially because there's like not good ways for Protoss to deal with it other than just like having 3 stalkers sit in every mineral line. Always feels awful as a Protoss player.
Yeah, definitely. As Ruiyichi, he is getting his signature observers out on the map all over the place, and he's being active with the stalkers, just looking, making sure there's no drop or anything coming towards his bases, as he's just slowly ramping up, working on his production. More of what we would expect from Ruiyichi. Again, kind of a little bit passive from both players.
Yeah, Ruiyichi just like he's gotten another passive game on his hands. He's taking his third base and he's getting like all his upgrades. He's dotting his I's, crossing his T's, and I'm very curious to see what sort of plans he has in store long term. Like, is he going to play a gateway style? Because it looks like he might be, with only sitting on 3 gas and getting armor upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't see another robotics bay being thrown down for like supportive units like Colossus or Disruptors. Instead, we see more investment into the gateway units like Charges on the way as well. So pretty interesting so far. And I think it's going to come down to like, is he going to be active out on the map as soon as Wonder attempts to take his third, as he still hasn't gone for it and Ruiyichi has his eyes on it.
That third base has been kind of just like turtled up. I feel like Wonder might just be a little bit timid to necessarily go out and take his own third, just because Ruiyichi is and Protoss in general is like such a scary race, and like you can kind of randomly die if you're not like absolutely on top of your scouting. And Wonder hasn't really seen much of anything since the Hellion and Reaper died, and so he should know that like a third base is taken, but you can't know that. And if this is a super delayed 2-base Hellion, Wonder would be nice. It would be nice for Wonder to have waited for that timing window to expire.
Yeah, and as we see, as soon as Wonder lands his third CC, it got spotted by the Observer, and now Ruiyichi's out here on the map looking to be aggressive. Ooh, it will get spotted by these 2 Marines.
Yes, and so now the siege tanks are coming down and are sieging up. There's a little bit of SimCity trying to be made here desperately by these SCVs getting depots down as fast as possible, but they're starting to go down as everything's blinks forward, and ooh, that's a pretty nice rear cannon, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, it misses the Zealots, as the Zealots are tanking up so many shots. They all finally get cleaned up. Nice interference matrix, but the Raven does go down.
And that Immortal does get micro back. It does finally go down, but they're just so much Protoss here. Another warp, and the CC does have to be lifted, and there are no more tanks, but Wonder is stimming forward. Is he going to be able to take this fight? We'll have to see. It's so close. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there's another warp of Zealots. If it wasn't for that, then maybe Wonder could go toe-to-toe with at least the Stalkers, but it looks like he has been able to push his opponent back for now. Oh god, that CC is getting dangerously low.
You know, that CC is on orange. It's getting pretty close to burn. I feel like if, I believe it's at 500 hit points the CC starts burning, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but that's dangerously close to, like, regardless. And, like, going for that second land is so bold as Wonder.
Yeah, exactly. As he did take a little bit more damage, it looks like Wonder, he's kind of given up on that location. He's like, you know what, you can have that third. I didn't even want it. I'm just going to slowly float away to the northern linear third.
Yes, and Wonder, he does scan and he finally sees that, yeah, you've got a third base with gases and a robotics bay on the way. He knows that he's a little bit behind in the tech race, as his observer sees absolutely everything, by the way, and Liberators are starting to get made, which I really, really like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Liberators are a nice choice to try and counter what Ruiyichi is going for, but as you said, it does kind of feel like he has to do something here. Oh my god, he pulled a lot of boys. Oh god, he's going for it.
Yes, and this is that something that you mentioned. He's trying to hit a window before Colossi are necessarily like out in force, and maybe if you can hit just like a perfect enough timing, you'll just be able to really get a good kill. But you kind of have to be a bit careful here. You can't lose the SCVs too early as everything starts to engage. The SCVs are like a bit behind much of everything.
Yeah, they're not really taking part whatsoever as he's stuck in this awful choke point. Oh, he even gets force fielded out.
Oh man, just so much time's being by here, and there's like another Colossi on the way. And just poor Wonder, man, just like getting force fielded out even.
Yeah, it just goes to show the vision of Ruiyichi. Like, Ruiyichi saw the workers being pulled, like, almost immediately because of that observer outside the natural. And now, finally, Wonder is here. He does have his tank siege up as well as his Liberator.
Yes, and there are nicely positioned. There are a couple of units to, like, help maybe keep them alive. The Stalkers blink on top of the tank, on top of the Liberator. Everything goes down. The SCVs are nowhere to be found. As the way this army is starting to win the fight, though, out of Wonder. But all the Disrupt Nova gets dodged.
Wow, nice pick up there by Wonder. He immediately pounces upon that disruptor. It does get taken out, but at the same time, the charge lots, they just barely get warped in, and they're enough to push the army back.
Yeah, the Stalkers are here once again fighting SCVs, but like these charge lots kill absolutely everything. And back at home, there's really not much of an economy to write of as GG Ruiyichi takes game 2 and the series.
GG. Oh god, again, Wonder, he was so close there. Like, it's such a shame that as soon as he pulled the boys, like, he got spotted, and Ruiyichi handled it so well in the center of the map, just slicing up the army, just fighting all the SCVs essentially on their own.
That's always a shame when you do end up like splitting up your SCVs from your force line, because SCVs move like reasonably quickly.
Yeah,
and so you have to kind of babysit them when you are pulling the boys, which is a bit unlucky.
Yeah, in the end, that was nicely done by Ruiyichi, kind of taking advantage of like his strengths there, which are his map vision. I have noticed that like that's really where he excels, and like when it comes to his defenses, they're so close because again, like he really doesn't like shield batteries. He's like, it's like, oh my god, a massive all in, time to just warp in units and just go for it. Like so many other Protoss players will just throw down as much stack defense as possible.
Yeah, no, but not Ruiyichi, man. He's like, you know what, shield batteries overrated. We can play like nothing has changed except the mothership got removed.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Oh god, and I feel like that's probably what leads to like why these games have been so close, but in the end, GG, well played. Ruiyichi does win the series, and now so far he's looking to come out first in this group.
Yeah, Ruiyichi is in definitely a confident position. I believe he has one more series he has to play. I believe it's the PvP that he still has to play to like secure his first place. But he's definitely well on his way to getting that done.
Ooh, that he is. And our next series will be Early versus Serial, a bit of a PvZ. But before we get into that, we are going to be going on a small break. So, of course, this is a bit of a reminder. Do not forget, there is a Matcherino page for NA Apprentice. I think the command is a little bit broken in the chat, but the Matcherino page is there. You can use code 2021 Apprentice 1 to add 50 cents for free to the event. And if you'd want to support the tournaments in a different way, there is also a Matcherino page as well. Yo, the commands are just not working today. I don't, hold on. Huh. Okay, I just can't spell. There it is. So there's a Patreon page as well. So if you want to help out Sugar, if you want to help out the NA scene, then you can do so right there. What he does is pretty amazing. I really do appreciate it.
Exactly. And I think everyone does as well. Just Sugar does so much for the NA scene. It's always nice to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, we will be back in 5 minutes with our next series. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely duct tape. Shout out to Vortex, who is in the chat. He's actually the person who edits and creates those duct tapes.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. I love the duct tapes.
Yeah. Vortex, of course, he is pretty prominent in the Latin American scene. He's like an admin for Live Speeder, and he actually used to like put together clips for Jim Rising stream. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool.
It's pretty sick, pretty sick. Give him plenty of love. But we are back, and we are getting ready for our next series.
Yes, we have a ZVP on our hands, and next, I believe it is Early versus Serial for our next batch of players, and I am super excited for this one. This is a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, like in general, I think we've been lucky because like all the players have kind of had their own unique styles of play. It's been really entertaining games so far, and we'll see how these two shape up. As are you ready? Are you ready to start the game?
I am indeed. Are you?
Oh, let's get into this. 3, 2, 1.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, it is the blue Zerg player. Give it up for Serial.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the American Protoss player. He is yellow. He is teamless. He is Early. Okay.
Early, we have a game on our hands. Early misplacing his first gateway and immediately going back to Victor. That's a little bit unfortunate to see.
It's a little bit of a feels bad moment. But
hey, he's doing better than Ruiyichi, who caught it right as the Ling Flood was hit him.
There you go. at least he's making sure the wall is indeed a wall. It's of course sometimes the bane of a bunch of Protosses. Oh my god, he's actually going Gate Forge.
Oh, I was like totally expecting a standard game here, but he's like completely cannon rushing. This is very interesting. Gate Forge is a really interesting cannon rush too against Zerg because it hits like I believe 30 seconds later, but your tech is so much faster. It is incredibly scary.
Yeah, exactly. And oh god, Serial spots it. He sees it with the Overlord.
I just barely sees it, but everything is already walled off on time, and there is room to retreat with his pylons in there. So I believe this is a pretty scary cannon rush. You can get the cannon up just fine, but oh no, he gets the cannon like in a really forward spot, so he can't like move his pylons back at all. But I believe it doesn't matter. He's still gonna get the cannon up, and maybe a zealot's wandering across the map or another probe at the very least.
Yeah, we do have a second probe on the way. It looks like the pylons will go down. Are they actually going to go down before the cannon does? Wow.
So all the pylons go down, and there's now just a cannon building, which isn't quite what you want to see. It is going to get canceled, though. And Early having to back up very early on, excuse my pun, as a bunch of Lings are heading across the map.
Yeah, Serial is looking to have his opponent for breakfast. I apologize. Oh god. Okay. Okay, we got a full wall off. So early should be okay.
Yes, early should definitely not die too early on this game, as there is a forge which is getting focused down. Plus one is researching and gets chronoed, but I don't think it's going to finish, as that is a scary amount of lings, and another pylon goes up, but maybe Sirio could have dove in on there, but he just, wasn't quite on top of things. The Stargate is the tech of choice. This looks almost standard.
Almost, except early is pretty far behind because of how the game is shaped out. It's such a shame as well because like Serial, his overlord was moving out of position. Like if you recall, it only just barely glimpsed the pylon, and as soon as that happened, like I as well thought the cannon was going to finish up, but Serial, like really good defense there, able to just completely shut the opening of early down.
Yeah, and really nice job by Serial too, knowing that, hey, you might not be able to retreat pylons enough to get that cannon out, so like I have to do something. And so the drone pull was really well done. And it's like if there was another like half-second delay on when that pylon went up, then like I feel like early would have just like gotten the cannon up for free, which would have been really a different game.
Oh yeah, completely different game. But as things have turned out, like Serial, he has established his natural quite nicely. He's expanding, working on his third. Meanwhile, early, yeah, he had to kind of switch things up a little bit. His Stargate surprisingly hasn't been scouted quite yet, so Serial isn't aware until now.
Yes. And that void ray is really nice, and it's really kind of bad as well for Serial, because he's gonna lose and be like really supply blocked, and these two overlords aren't like really going to get too much done, and so he has to make two more, as he is starting like spore crawlers and like your standard defenses, a layer, and his third base, while it is kind of late, it's kind of fine because there really isn't a whole lot Protoss can do, since, as you mentioned earlier, they're put so far behind from that cannon rush failure.
Yeah, exactly. And really interesting here by early. He makes his initial void ray, and there are no more Stargate units being produced from there. He's going immediately into charge.
Definitely an interesting one. I feel like I really would have gone for like just mass sky toss right away, because yeah, it's like kind of the expected thing, but it's also very hard for Zerg to deal with, because like you get like a bunch of void rays, and then suddenly you can like, it's hard to deal with the third base unless you have like hydras or corruptors, and those are hard to get to. They take a while. And so just like the game goes on longer, but maybe Early's a bit worried about his late game. I'm not sure, but regardless of his position, he does see that there is stuff moving down to the third base to be taken by earlier. So Serial knows that this is going to be a bit of a longer game. It's not going to quite end right away.
Well, I mean, that's what Serial believes, I think, because early, okay, the link doesn't get in, because that's a lot of gateways. That's going to be 8 gateways for charge lots, as the War Prism is finishing up as well. So this is a pretty heavy commitment here, and it could catch Serial off guard, because Serial, at the moment, he has no idea. Like, he hasn't been able to get an Overlord into the main base whatsoever. He's actually working towards an infestation pit.
Yeah, no, really interesting decision making here out of Serial. He's just deciding to go for that additional tech, which really isn't quite what you want to see. Considering like there's a massive attack here coming anytime now. Like, War Prism's moving out. It's just like this isn't what you want.
Do you think he's going for Stormhost? Is that the plan here?
I mean, I feel like it has to be.
Oh my god.
Would it be?
Yeah, there we go. The swarm hosts are on the way. Meanwhile, here comes the War Prism, another massive warp in of zealots. And at the moment, there's barely anything on the ground. There isn't really anything to contest these zealots.
Exactly. I feel like Early's in just such a nice position here. He's got the War Prism in the main. He's got like just absolutely massive amounts of army, and I don't know, like this multi-prong, I feel like he's just gonna like tear Serial apart. He's forced to use his Locust in the main base, and meanwhile the natural is completely forfeit.
Yeah, that it is.
Third base, I guess.
I do think that Early took a little bit too much time to attack, as it looks like, oh god, all the reinforcements are coming out, but the Zealots, they are getting on top of the Roaches here at the third, and there isn't really much here to defend. Again, the Locust waves are on cooldown.
Yes, and GG gets called. Early takes game number 1, but man, what an interesting game out of Serial. Just like not quite, because like it looked fairly normal. Like, oh, he was really behind, so he was taking a late third base. Yeah, everything makes sense. But suddenly he just like got ran over by a bunch of charge loss, which is a little unfortunate, but it happens to the best of us.
I mean, that's the risk you take when you go straight into Swarm Host, like, like it's not like Serial was doing anything standard by any means, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point. But like, yeah, it's such an interesting decision to go directly for the Swarm Host. So wonder if he's going to do something similar for game number 2. Like, do you think it's going to be another cannon rush?
I hope so. Personally, I hope so. I think what I love from both these players is that, or like, we've already seen Serial in a ZVP against Ruiyichi, and so far every single game we've seen of Serial, he's done something a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
He's got a pretty large variety of builds that he has available to him, and they're all kind of weird. I appreciate it.
Yes, no, weird builds definitely are very, very fun. And I'm really looking forward to see what weird build comes next out of our players.
Yeah, definitely. As we are getting ready for our second map, I'm hoping for another cannon rush, but especially because it could have worked out there in game 1, but unfortunately it did get scattered at the last moment. At the same time, do you risk doing it 2 games in a row? I don't know if that's really the call you want to make. We'll find out. Mate, are you ready?
I am indeed. Do you want to count us in?
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And here we have spawning in the bottom left-hand corner is our blue Zerg player. Down 1-0. Give it up for Serial.
And spawning in, oh my god, the top right hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the American Protoss player currently getting 12 pulled. He is early.
Yes, and this is a very interesting build. That's not a standard time scout, and so I wonder if we're going for a forge or something. Alright, so no, a standard gateway, so I guess it is a pylon scout. And so this scout will, out of our Protoss player, do a very nice job of seeing that, hey, it's an early super aggressive 12 pull. Because at least he's not scouting. Because like some Protoss players are just like, yeah, I'll go like Gay, Cyber, then Nexus and Scout, and like just accept that I'll dive. And so the fact that he's playing it safe, I really like out of early here.
Oh yeah, as he immediately checks, he sees the pull timing, he knows that it is a 12 pull, and we'll see how good the defense is going to be as immediately he's looking to get that wall up and running.
Star 6 things on the way, and there's a natural hatchery which doesn't get blocked, so like Serial's in like not a bad position macro-wise because he has the CC, he has the hatchery, excuse me, up and nice and early, and the Lings are getting across the map fairly quickly.
Oh, that they are. It looks like they do get spotted by the probe as well by early, so he does confirm that Lings are on the way. The Zealot should be being chronoed out, and it should be out in time, but again, like, it is still possible to find damage with this. Let's hope that early has that Zealot on hold position and doesn't get surrounded.
This is Zealot is just like barely. Oh wait, no, does he let them? Oh, he lets the Zerglings in there.
No!
What just happened? The Zerglings, they get in, they're gonna try and get the pylon down as probes have to be. Well, I don't know if this is enough probes. He starts to fight the probes and shield batters are being made, but like, what is this game? What happened here?
Oh my god, exactly, it wasn't enough probes. Okay, now almost the entire mineral line is here to defend, but a couple more Lings have slid into the main base, and now he has the high ground, and yeah, he's locking the probes out of the main.
Because, this isn't your base, you're not trapped here with me. I'm not trapped here with you, you're trapped here with me. As these Zergs are getting absolutely so much damage, and this is just so much lost mining time. Meanwhile, Serial just like has to be grinning to himself. He's like, yeah, I've gotten like pretty nice damage here. As the Depths like aren't even like here to deal with them yet. Like there's one out, but like is it really in a position to deal with these Zerglings? I don't think so. Or wait, is it out? Oh, it's not. He canceled the Adept. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah, he remade the Zealot instead, and I mean, in the end, these things will get cleaned up, but they've just dealt so much damage, you know, so much lost mining time. They've been able to force, you know, the units out from early. He, you know, of course, canceled that Adept, and he even spots the Robo. He's still alive.
Yes, that Ling just getting absolutely everything. Serial knows everything. He has Lings outside the base, so he knows when like his opponent's going to push, and he has a license to hold down the D key, stick a brick on top of it, and maybe take a third base as well. In the meantime, as Serial's just, I feel like he's in such a nice position here if he can like really drone and like get to a nice economy.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Like early, I don't know if like early on he accidentally used like his chrono on his Nexus or something, but he was not chronoing out that first Zealot. It was not out in time, and when it did come out, like the probe wasn't in the whole position. It was just a disaster. And as you said, Serial can do whatever he wants right now, and he's droning up. He's taking his third.
And no, I really like this. He's getting some gases as well, which is just like he's like, yeah, I want to not make just Zerglings forever. Let's get like roaches or a layer, upgrades maybe as well as it's probably or as on the other side of things, we do have a Warp Prism on the map. Like I really feel like it's not going to get a whole lot done because Warp Gate isn't even done.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Warp Gate is still on the way. Maybe there is an opportunity here, like if Serial is too greedy and if this Warp Prism goes out unscouted, then maybe early can like catch his opponent off guard and get a bunch of worker kills. That's a big if though, because Serial, he is making a small wave of Lings.
Yes, and I really like this wave of Lings here because like even though there isn't Ling speed, they're like it's really nice just to be able to have units, like especially to buffer for the roaches, because let's say that somehow there was charge, like because there isn't, having like those Lings to absorb and like maybe distract the charge lots while your roaches can get like those extra hits in, like are in my opinion worth it.
Oh yeah, very much so. And something that's a bit of a shame is that early his Warp Prism, it did fly right over the Lings. So Serial, he should be aware if he saw it himself, that there is a Warp Prism out on the map. Like we already see a handful of roaches are being morphed in as well. He's got a decent amount of queens. He should be okay, but we'll see. We'll see if early can make something happen because he needs to make something happen.
Definitely, as Ling speed is nearing completion, and so I feel like if early is to do something like aggressive, he should kind of do it before Ling speed because that is 20 Lings on the way. Dear, wow.
Oh god, yeah. I'm sure early was hoping that Serial would be a little bit more greedy and drone up a little bit more, but no, Serial has barely droned. He hasn't droned up his third whatsoever, just using it for lava. Ling speed has finished up.
Yes, now early he has to push and he has to do something, but like, can he really do something? I like the hallucinated stalkers, but like everything gets surrounded here, and just Zerglings do so much to stalkers. Oh man. And that's it. GG. Well played. Serial taking game number 2. What a fight.
Oh, GG. Just the Serial, he was just ready for it. You know, I like that he wasn't too greedy, you know, like sure he droned up on 2 bases, but after that, like he just focused on his army, got a massive wave of Lings and just completely shut that attack down.
Exactly. And if he had droned like at 2 really, he could very easily just like hit a tipping point where suddenly like, yeah, you have a lot of drones, but you can't like kill the army, and like your reinforcements won't ever really be enough. And so like I really like that stopping at 41 drones that he did, and well now because of it we get a game 3, which I am super excited for.
It's our first ace match of the day.
It is. Well, we had a very like relatively speaking quick day. So yeah, just like 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and then like now we finally get definitely a 2-1, but on whose side will it be? We'll have to wait and find out.
That we will. I will say, even though we have had a bunch of 2-0s, like the games haven't been one-sided. They've been very, very, very close, I would say. It's just that they have, you know, both games gone one way or the other. So we'll see. We'll see how things shape up here as we are getting ready for game number 3. Is going to be on Lightshade. Nate, are you ready?
I am indeed. Do you want to count us in?
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And here we have once again spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Give it up for our blue Zerg player. He is Serial.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE. Once again, getting 12 pulled, we have the American Protoss player. He is Early.
This time around, going for a bit of a later scout. This is a gateway scout instead of the pylon scout, so he's not going to know as quickly. Now, this shouldn't affect his defense at all, considering that gateway scout, still gets there in time to see the 12 pull before like your nexus would go down, so it doesn't have to cancel anything. But it's still like a little bit awkward because you have less time to react, and if like you're kind of on autopilot, you might not like notice, and you may have to cancel your nexus or something. So if you're not like paying that close attention, but the probe now knows something fishy is up, and he will. Oh, that's interesting. A queen before the natural base. Ooh. That's not something you see every day.
Wait, what?
Okay, wait.
Yeah. He ended up canceling the queen, so he still does go for that hatchery. But as we see, Early confirms that he was actually going Gate Forge.
Oh, that's like super unlucky for Early. He wanted that. I didn't even notice. He wanted the like cannon rush. So you want guarantee let's cannon rush. Yeah, it's like cannon rush and kill you. But not on this time. He has to play defensive with those cannons, and we do have that Zealot on the way. But is this a hard wall?
Oh, it should be, as yes, the Zealot does get in position. This should be a full wall off, as I mean, might as well throw down a cannon, right? Like you have to do something with this forge. Oh.
Yes, but you really have to be careful here with the Zealot. It is imperative that you don't let the Zerglings get in. At the same time, I'll just barely keep icing those Zerglings out.
Oh no!
You don't want to lose that. Oh no! Oh no! The Zealot goes down, and the Zerglings will have free reign, but they don't.
He could have gone in, but you know what? He's like, screw it. I don't want to go in. I want to kill this forge instead, and it looks like he's gonna get it.
He gets the forge, and like he still is walled out, but that's so weird. I thought like, he's gonna run in and like maybe get the pylon or something, or at least get into the main base. But now he's just like, yeah, I'll go back out. Like that's so weird. I thought that there was totally a hole there. What?
Huh. So both players slipping up a little bit. Early again with his early Zealot micro just wasn't on point, but interesting decision making there from Serial, deciding to kill the forge instead of slipping in.
Yeah, no, maybe like I wonder if that's like it doesn't look like a hard wall, but it is or something, because like it looks like at the wall there should be a gap there.
I'm pretty sure there is, right? Like that's why the Zealot was in the gap, right?
Yeah, I thought so too. I think so, but like I'm not 100% sure. Like this game and these Protoss walls have me questioning like my entire life.
There's something about these NA Protosses and the way they wall. It's just not a thing. I don't get it.
It doesn't look right. I don't like it.
Oh god. Okay, well, as things continue on, we'll keep an eye on this again. I'm pretty sure a probe or unit can slip through there. We shall see as things are slowly ramping up. Again, Serial, he is still on 2 bases. He does not have a third.
Very interesting decision out of our Zerg player here, because you kind of need a third base as Zerg if you're going to play a macro game. Just because you need like the larva, if nothing else. And he is finally taking it now, but like it's still a bit later than you'd like, and it's you'd still kind of like he doesn't have the gas income to really be delaying it this much. And I feel like if he had taken it a bit earlier, he would have been in a bit of a better spot. But regardless, he's still in a pretty good spot, and he can still has the license to drone, considering that there's really nothing that Early can do to him, especially considering this may or may not be a full wall. The jury is still out on that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised as well as to how delayed that third hatchery was, because normally if it is delayed this much, it's for a reason, right? It's for faster gases, it's for a faster lair, maybe faster upgrades, but yeah, just Serial a little bit delayed.
And Serial is like finally getting those natural gases like established, and he's mining from them, which is very nice. He's also like got a roach warren on the way, and he's doing like all the little things, which like, yes, I'm checking box A, B, C, D, I am set. I can turn in my I'm a good, safe Zerg player, and so I shouldn't die to anything. And speaking of dying to anything, there is a War Prism heading out on the map.
Oh, that there is, and this is pretty interesting. I love how early he's utilizing his Forge, as +1 is well timed with this warp in.
Yes, really nice job. A lot of Stalkers here, which are a bit weak to Zerglings, but I don't really see too many Zerglings out on the map yet. There are some, but like, is this going to be enough?
Yeah, we shall see, as well as the War Prism Micro to keep those Stalkers alive, as he is looking to hit this third base location, looking to take it down. And I mean, he could, especially if he snuggles himself against the wall, you know, reduce as much surface area as possible.
Yes, picking up a couple of Stalkers, just like be extra safe here, and the Roaches and Queens are like kind of here. So this is a very nice job. The Zealot's doing an excellent job of tanking the Zerglings, as more and more stuff is getting warped in here. And I really like Early's position here.
Yeah, the Queens go down, the Roaches can't really contend with this, and the third base, it's dead.
And I'll rip the third base. I'm like, really, once you lose the third base, he has the Spine Curl. I guess it can maybe hold on in the natural and put a layer on the way. But like, what's really the follow-up here? Is he gonna like go for Mutas, I guess? Maybe? But first he has to not die though.
Exactly, like, I mean, thankfully he does have this Spine. Is it going to be enough though? As you said, like, there are just a couple of Roaches, the Spine will go down, and with these +1 Stalkers with essentially Blink with that War Prism Micro, like, he's just pushing on through.
And more slow Zealots warp in, and the Prism even manages to dodge the bile there as GG gets called and Early takes game 3 in the first H match of the night. What a weird game that was.
GG, that was very strange. You know, again, a very late third hatchery, like overall that does so much to the Zerg production as well. So he didn't really have too much to defend. He had very minimal amount of Queens. He just wasn't ready, and maybe it wasn't registering that, hey, my opponent is still like on 2 bases for almost as long as I've been. And that's like a 2-basing Protoss is terrifying.
Yeah, no, two-base Protosses are like some of the most scary things. The only thing scarier than a 2-base Protoss is probably like a 6-base Protoss was scary.
Oh god. But GG, yeah, Early he takes his first win of the day.
Yeah, it's really nice done. It's really nice to see Early win, and I'm very curious. And now, like, he did lose a game to Wonder, but if he manages to beat Ruiyichi, I'm very curious what the groups will look like, because both Ruiyichi and Early will be at 2-1. Maybe we might get some more players at 2-1. We'll have to wait and see. Or can they get to 2-1 if that happens?
Yeah, it's still kind of unclear who the second player to advance from this group is going to be, since things are kind of evening out amongst the other players, whereas Ruiyichi does still have that lead as first out. We shall see, as we are getting ready to get into our very first ZVT of the day.
Yes, and this is a matchup I'm very excited about. This is El Clasico of StarCraft, a matchup that has been a fan favorite for a very long time, and for quite a good reason. And it is, in my opinion, a very, very fun matchup to both play and watch.
It can be. I'm curious though, because this was a question that I posed, I believe, to Disrespect last week, and I'm gonna pose it again. I don't think Wonder's here, but is he a Bio-Terran or is he a Making Terran?
All right, so I have not seen anything. I know nothing, and I'm gonna guess that Wonder is a Bio-Terran.
I hope so.
I feel like Wonder is the name of someone that is like, it almost reminds me of like a Korean like pro gamer, like who like they flip through the dictionary point and be like Wonder, dark, cube, and so I feel like it's very like Korean Terran, very multi-prong heavy kind of name, but like who knows, I might be wrong.
It's true. When I think of Wonder, that to me that sounds like the second choice of innovation, you know, like innovation. Wonder, right? Like it's up there.
Innovation's kid brother, Wonder, who's actually like a League of Legends pro, I think.
Yeah.
Innovation's kid brother. I don't know if his ID is Wonder, but
if it isn't, it should be.
Yeah, no, I agree, but like I actually don't know what Innovation's kid brother's ID is now that I think about it.
Oh boy. All right. These are things that we will look into. But mate, are you ready for game number 1?
I am indeed. Do you want to count us in?
Oh boy, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And here we have spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Give it up for our green Terran player. It is Wonder.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is blue. He is representing Archangel Gaming. It is Serial.
This time not going for anything too incredibly aggressive, at least early on. I speak too soon, as suddenly we do have a pool first going down, but it's not a 12 pool this time. So slightly more macro-oriented, and just a very different build. I feel like this is very good against any proxy Raxes, but also I feel like you are the Zerg who goes like kind of 16 pool much more than I do. So what do you think about this?
These accusations coming out from you. Whoa, I don't know what you're talking about. Look, I only go pool first in every other matchup other than ZBT. Okay, I'm very much a macro player here. But I agree. Like, you don't see this too often. This just straight up 16 pool first. Like, sure you can do things with it. Like, you can slip by the initial Reaper and try and get a delay on that natural CC. But if Wonder goes for an SCV Scout, then he should just keep the Reaper at home.
Ooh, I really like this. On the side of Serial, a Roach Warren going down.
Oh my
and this
God.
is honestly the most terrifying thing on the planet.
Jesus Christ. But Wonder, like, he does have an SCV out on the map. Like, if he does manage to slip into that main base and scout that Roach Warren, like, that's gonna be huge.
100%, as we do see the SCVs heading in, and the Lings slip by both the SCV and the Reaper. Oh, he isn't going in.
No, he knows it's a pull force, so immediately the Reaper comes back home. So sure, the Reaper's going to be able to defend against the Lings, but that doesn't matter because, again, like, the hidden tech is what's important.
Yes, he's still going back and forth. He's still looking for that third base, and oh no, he's setting up as the Zerglings micro against the Reaper and the Marine on the other side of things. The third base is 100% going to be denied, but there's no third base in sight. He's just making roaches. This is the 5 roach pressure. I love this out of Serial.
Yeah. This is something that I know Gogo Joey does this a lot. I know Mia Micah does this a lot as well. When he goes up against, you know, the regional Terran players, and finally he gets scattered by the Reaper in the center of the map.
Yes, really nice job by that Reaper. He goes across and he's like, all right, so what's going on? I needed to get something done. That can't be it, can it? As we do have bunkers going up and a tech lab even for the factory, and like things are getting evacuated. I really like Wonder's position here. I feel like this is his game to lose.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that he does have the bunker on the high ground. It's so difficult, almost impossible to hold on the low ground. So he is going to be giving up that natural location. You can always just lift up the main base. That's perfectly fine as long as you're able to defend here at the ramp.
Yes, and the ramp is what will decide things, as the bunker just barely manages to pop in time. You have to kind of wait, and oh no, he just barely manages to avoid losing that roach. And yeah, the CC is being forced to lift off, so there's a lot of damage, which is very, very nice, but it's still not what you want to see out of, so you kind of want to like kill your opponent if you can, or at least like maybe force a bigger reaction than this, because this is a big reaction, but I feel like this is a very clean hold so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. And because of the way the SimCity has worked out for Wonder, like he's here, he's able to repair all the buildings, so it's so difficult to even get a depot. So now Serial, he's just hoping to contain his opponent for as long as he can. Oh, the Roach!
Oh yes, I love it. He does, and he finally does manage to get it. The bunker on the bottom side manages to kill the Roach, but like that was such a cheeky play. Like, yeah, I'll send the one Reaper, grenade your Roach that is already damaged into my bunker of Marines. Like, what a nice play.
That was stylish. That was beautiful. That was wonderful, if you will. As now the Marines, they go down, they clean up everything on the low ground, and now Wonder, he can expand.
Yes, Wonder is able to get a natural base, and I feel like Serial overstayed his welcome a little bit, because at least when I do builds like this, because I do occasionally do something similar to this, you kind of want to keep your units alive just so you don't die to anything. Because like right now, Wonder has a timing where you can just like move out with like a siege tank, a Viking, and his group of Marines and be like, yeah, so I might accidentally kill you here. If you don't immediately remake like 5-6 roaches, because that's just such a difficult task force to deal with. But Wonder instead staying home and playing it safer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're right. Like, if Wonder went across the map with everything that he has, he could just win. Like, to defend that there's 3 roaches and 2 queens. Like, if he had gone immediately, he would be able to deal so much damage. But at the same time, like, as a Terran player, it's so scary to do that when you don't have any support units. Like, you don't have any medevacs, you don't have stim, you don't have any upgrades. Like, you feel like you're kind of leaving the house a little bit naked. So yeah,
and that it does make sense. It is always a terrifying thing, and this Viking man, he's just getting like all this like harassment done, which is so annoying.
Oh yeah. Gets an overlord. You know, he keeps all the overlords at home as well. There is one out on the map, you know, so Serial does have the opportunity to dive in and maybe get a scout off, but at the moment, like, he's just trying to stay alive. As you said before, he's just trying to get his third up and running and do what he can.
Yes, he is like starting to get to like the proper-ish drone counts. He's got like upgrades on the way, and so Serial is slowly edging his way into a fairly normal game. But still, this is just like such a scary position to be in, because the Terran player, he's gone for Rax's 2 and 3 before his 3rd CC, so that does mean that this will be a very, very big pressure play out of Wonder. He's probably going to hit a timing close to when his +1 is finishing, and it'll be probably around when Combat Shield finishes as well. This is going to be a massive timing attack that I look forward to seeing if Serial can hold. Yeah,
it's a big if, right? Because he's committed to his Roach tech, and we all know that Roaches aren't necessarily the best units against Bio, especially if they don't have anything to support, like Ravagers or Lings to help buffer. So it's going to be very difficult for Serial to hold here, as the army is starting to move out across the map.
Exactly, and one thing that is also working against Serial here before this fight begins is his crew spread has just been so stunted because of this. But the C-Tanks are getting dropped into position, and they are sieging up, and so Serial has to do something now before he loses this 3rd base.
Yeah, and immediately the 3 queens are kind of isolated from the rest of the army, so they are going to be focused down, and the Roaches, only just now the Ravagers are being morphed in. He needed them desperately to help deal with the tanks.
Oh, and the Roaches are just gutting into the siege tank fire. So many of them go down before the fight even begins. One siege tank goes down. There are just so many Marines here, and there's just not enough Roach Ravagers.
Yeah, exactly. All the Roaches are going to be going down. A couple of Lings are trickling in to help buffer, but it's just not going to be enough. There's only 1 Ravager remaining. Make that none. And the 3rd, it's going to be going down.
These Marines stimming in, able to get a whole bunch of drone kills here, but instead they're just getting like the Queen and then the Hatchery next. Really trying to focus it down. But is he going to get it? Oh no, the transfuse.
Wow. Okay, I mean, we'll see. So the Lings, they get on top of the tanks. The tanks are going to be going down, but there are reinforcements. Oh my god, I was thinking maybe Serial could hold here, but with these reinforcements, he focuses down the Hatchery.
Oh, that's such a nice play. Like, yeah, he can stem, and he'll lose, like, even if half his army he loses to getting that 3rd base down. Like, he's in such a nice position. He's a 3rd base of his own, landing and transforming. He's got, like, a decent army at home. He's even got armor and more NG bays coming up. That just, I feel like Wander's in such a nice position. He's really taken the driver's seat from Serial.
Oh yeah. Serial, he's stuck on 2 bases. I mean, sure, Serial did just finish up 1-1, which is great, but there's no creep spread to help defend his base. Immediately cancelled.
And a really nice job by Wonder, keeping up with that multi-prong bio harassment. Just like, yeah, get in, get a base cancel, get out. Get in, get a drone or 2, get out. I really like this, and you can keep this up. You can really just like harass Serial until he basically has his Marauders. He has his like ultimate anti-Roach army.
Yeah, exactly. And as you were saying, once again, he just goes in, cancels the 3rd once again. He scans, confirms that Serial is attempting to double expand. He knows where the next avenue of attack is going to be, and this entire time he's slowly been macroing up. He's even feeling confident enough to take his own 4th.
Yes, I love it. fourth base. This is on location, so it's not like super bold and brazen about it. This is going to be basically right where his army will be, right by his rally. He's got a siege tank in range. This is going to be a fourth base that is very hard for like Zerg to really do anything about. And considering Zerg's barely on 3 bases himself, trying to take a fourth base as well, like this is not the position you want to find yourself in. Although Wonder is pushing where the creep is, so that will slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, that it will. It does buy Serial a little bit of time to reposition his army, and he definitely has enough to help deal with this drop. But Wonder, he doesn't commit. He just pokes in, pokes out. Ooh, catches these roaches in the center as well.
It's a really nice job by a Wonder to just like be on top of when his opponent's moving out, and like he does have the army position in. Oh no, one of his tanks is in siege, but he does siege it up now, and like, oh, this is just, you don't want to fight the siege tank, and like not with Roach Ravager.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, there's only 2 tanks here, and there's not a lot of buffers, so potentially Serial could try and engage into this army, bow down the tanks immediately, but he's waiting too long, and now the wall goes up to protect the tanks.
As depots are on the way. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the Marines are going to get a kill, not a cancel, on this fourth base once again, and Serial just has to back up. He doesn't really decide to go for it. And considering they're Liberators now on the map, this is not at all going well for Serial this game. Poor guy.
Yeah, the Liberators are just zooming across the map. They're not even at home to defend against the Roaches. Wonder doesn't even need them as they're going to go harass the bases. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager is pushing on in. It looks like one of the tanks will be bowed down.
A really nice job, and he might be able to bow down the other tank as well instead of focus on army. But while this first fight on upstairs has to back up, the second fight is going really well. The tank goes down, just barely not. One more bow would have gotten it off. Instead, just really nice job, and is Serial doing it? He's suddenly winning both sides, and I feel like I don't understand what went wrong.
Yeah, he pushed his way through. Maybe it was a mistake to send those Liberators across the map, right? They weren't here to defend. Meanwhile, there is a drop across the map, but it does get defended. So the economy of Serial is kind of in shambles, but he's pushing into the main base.
A really nice job. A lot of drones are going down, but with Serial on top of the production, I feel like it's just like, I don't know, man. This is such a hard position to come back from, considering there's like basically no units.
It's really weird. Like Serial, he only has 1 base economy, but GG gets called.
What a game! Like almost no mining, but doesn't matter. Well played. Serial, the Zerg player, just coming out on top. What a weird game.
What happened? Like Wonder was doing such a good job, but I guess he underestimated the power of the Roach Ravager, and yeah, like he just didn't have enough at home to defend.
Yeah, like I feel like if he had kept those Liberators at home and sieged them up, like one on the high ground and then one kind of on the low ground, about where the third was, I feel like the whole experience of that game would have gone so much nicer. But now we get game number 2, and I am very, very excited to see what happens this game, because these games have been so good so far.
I'm still processing what just happened.
I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm just like so confused. Like I'm saying words, but my brain is still like thinking about like, okay, what, like exactly how did that whole puzzle fit together?
Yeah. You know what? You don't need bases. That's what I'm learning. If you're a Zerg player, you don't need bases, right? You don't need a fourth. You don't need a third. Just make Roach Ravager and push out across the map. He had 2-2. Like to be fair, like Serial was on top of his upgrades. Like his army was well upgraded, and even though he was struggling to push on forward, like that's all you need. Just Roach Ravager.
Yeah, no, just Roach Ravager, give him 2-2, and suddenly the world is your oyster until Terran hits 3-3.
Exactly. All right. You ready to get into this?
I am indeed. Do you want to count us in?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the top left-hand corner, the green Terran player for Remember the Game. It is Wonder.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is blue. He is representing Archangel Gaming. Somehow, someway, he was able to bring himself back in game number 1. Here he is again. It is Serial. Oh my. Oh my. Mate, there's 2 SCVs out on the map.
You know, the win rate of Proxy 2 racks or Proxy 3 racks in tournaments has to be absolutely insane. I've never seen the strategy lose. I wonder if that tweet will hold firm today, as dear light, we have a Proxy 2 racks in our hands.
We do have a Proxy 2 racks. No gases whatsoever being taken in the main base of Wonder, and Serial has no goddamn idea.
I know, Serial absolutely visionless of this. Is the Overlord pattern just like deciding to prioritize getting an Overlord across the map rather than checking along this bottom side for the proxies? And so it's a decision you make, but it's a very common decision. So I feel like Wonder, having done his research, knows that, hey, this is what this is the kind of Overlord patterns that Serial go for, and he's not even got vision of the natural, so this bunker could go up nice and early.
Exactly.
I feel like it's just such a nice position here out of Wonder.
Yeah, like there's nothing stopping him right now. Like the Overlord still isn't across the map. Like Serial still has no idea. There we go. The bunker has begun, and Serial went for an economic based opening, right? The hatch gas pool. There's still, the pool isn't quite done yet. There are no links, and now he still doesn't see. Okay, well now he knows.
Yeah, he knows as he's getting marine shells fired from that C-14 into his hatchery. Just, this is like the absolute worst case scenario. And like, you got the 2 bunkers, they're gonna get up. You can't really do anything. And roaches is the response. You really don't want to go roaches. You just are forced into going roaches.
Yeah, exactly. And he's gonna be stuck on one base because, again, I can't imagine him holding this natural base location. He's attempting to with these links, trying to deny that bunker, but he ends up losing too.
Yeah, no, that's really unfortunate. And this 3rd bunker is gonna go up, and so I feel like he's gonna slow down any and all pushes out of Serial by so much. This is really, really an interesting game here. And Wonder even gets the queen, or no, he doesn't. He lives with 3 health.
Wonder, please. Okay. He knows he's setting one of the Marines out to get it. Beautiful. Here we go.
What a weird. I feel so bad for Serial here. He's just like so boxed in. Gonna have to do something maybe when the broodlings spawn, but like, that's like unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost want to see him pull the boys alongside the broodlings, just go all out, right? But at this point, we'll see if he has enough.
I know he's forced to engage when the Marines come forward, but he's suddenly losing all of his roaches. He tries to micro back, but just isn't quite able to. And I feel like, man, Wonder, just what a clean game.
Oh yeah, definitely. This went as well as it could have. GG gets called. Wonder takes game 2.
You know, the win rate of Proxy 2 racks / Proxy 3 racks in tournaments has to be absolutely insane. I never see the strategy lose.
It's got 100% win rate in NA Apprentice.
Exactly.
Oh god. Meanwhile, the Zerg troll asking who is that player? It is Serial. It's the Canadian. For some reason, the Canadian player has the most outrageous name. I don't know how that works.
I mean, you never know. Occasionally there are Canadians who are mean. I'm sure one of them exists out there. I haven't personally met him, but you know, he's out there.
I'm sure. Oh god, as now, once again, we are tied up. We're headed into another ace match.
All right, so Light, I'm very curious what your prediction for this game will be. What do you think is going to happen, and who do you think is going to take it?
Okay. So what I love so far about this series, game 1, Serial 12 pulls into a roach all in. Game 2, Wonder Proxy 2 racks. Game 3, we're gonna have a 12 pull against a proxy. It's both worlds are going to collide.
Oh no.
That's the only way it could be, right? Like
I'm saying like, yeah, that's definitely logical progression. I completely understand where you're going for it, but like, just oh no, a 12 pool versus like proxy. Let's say it's proxy 2 racks.
Uh-huh.
Like that's not what you want to see with the proxy 2 racks player.
It's true. It's very true. I love the idea of going for a 12 pool just because, again, like, you can macro out of it, right? Like, you can macro a 12
Yeah.
pool. It's fine.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%.
Oh, good. All right. All right. Are you ready for this?
I am indeed. You want to count us in?
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Give it up for our green Terran player representing Remember the Game. He is Wonder.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Archangel Gaming. Not going for an early pull. It is Serial. I'm disappointed.
I mean, well, he goes for an early pool, but it's not quite a 12 pool, unfortunately. I'm wondering if this is the, like, Lambo 5 roach pressure, or if it's going to be something different.
Yeah. I mean, we did see Serial go for this in game number 1. Sorry, my memory was hazy and I thought it was the 12 pool, but he did go for the 16 pool first earlier this series. Is he crazy enough to do it again after the opening failed that game, if you recall?
Yeah, Wonder had a very clean defense, and just what happened was, like, I feel like Sierra just got into, like, a nice position upgrades wise, and, like, was able to, like, just get strong. He had a power spike and immediately took advantage of that. And that's sort of the things you have to do if you're gonna win the game. But, like, just Wonder had such a clean defense. I would be very scared to use this pull again. I'd, like, maybe do something like no regret 14-14 if I wanted to put on pressure. But that is just me, and I am a fairly cheesy player myself.
And as we see, Serial, he actually is doing it again. Like he's got his initial lings that are going across the map, and he's got that Roach Warren behind it. But we'll see if this time Wonder actually commits with his SCV scout, or once again just sees the timing of the hatch and backs off.
Oh no! Oh no! He sees the hatchery that is late, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll go home." Like, get me out of here. Let me get back to my Reaper Marines. He's got the Reaper staying at home, which is very, very key. You cannot send that across the map. But so you want to go into the main base and confirm. Because what if this wasn't the Roach Pool? What if you end up making like 2 bunkers for nothing?
Right. I guess I understand. Again, though, I wish he just went in with that SCV to confirm. Regardless, he does have his Reaper coming home to defend, but it is not here. And this natural is being delayed.
The naturals being delayed is really, really nice here out of Serial. Like, if you can delay it for as long as humanly possible, you're in a nice spot. Because the ideal situation is you get to the other side of the map with the roaches before the CC finishes, and you can just, like, kill the SCV that's building it and, like, deny things for even longer. But that's a bit hard with the map the size of Pillars of Gold.
Yeah, that it is. Meanwhile, the Reaper of Wonder is going across the map, and he still hasn't spotted the roaches, actually. Surprisingly, yes, he's finally going in and finally confirms that it is a roach push.
Yeah, no, finally seeing the roaches, like, almost a full minute late. Like, he could have, like, very easily gone in with his initial SCV, like, saying, oh, yeah, no, is there Roach Warren or not? And maybe played it a bit safer earlier on, but there are bunkers in the way, and there is a starport, and that is a good number of SCVs being pulled, but is it in time?
Yeah, it looks like it just is. Serial, he took his time getting up here, so because of that, it looks like the bunker will just barely complete.
Yeah, the bunker is being repaired as fast as it can. SCVs are getting pulled, and oh no, he loses a Ravager. Serial, but he does bust the depot, and he is in, but he's losing so many units here. He just might run past.
Yeah, he's just running past the bunker. He doesn't even care. He's just going straight into the mineral line. And so far this game, he has dealt so much damage compared to game number 1.
Yeah, that's just so much more damage. I really like it out of Serial to, like, just deal that much damage. Like, yeah, he knew that he could kill the depot. He knew that he could run by everything. And this Overlord is going to go down, but he's just still in such a nice position. He's got a very fast third base. He's got lots of drones and more queens in the lane. I just feel like Serial is going to be in the commanding position for this series.
Oh yeah,
endgame.
Yeah, definitely. Like as we saw last time, like Wonder, even though he has like a big supply advantage, like he's not going to be moving out anytime soon. Like he wants to get a little bit more comfortable, and we do see, oh my god, immediately throwing down the third here.
I like it. I feel like throwing down this third is his comeback play. Like, yeah, it's going to be scouted sort of by the Zerg opponent, but the Zerg really can't do much of anything about it. The Zerg has to drone on their own, because you need to, as Zerg, get to the position where you can absorb damage, and like you really want to be on like maybe 50 drones here, in case it's an all-on. But seeing the third base, you could probably drone to 66 or even 70, basically free.
Oh yeah, exactly. And once again, we do see the double Evo chambers on the way from Serial, so he knows, like, he's well aware of like how he was able to win game number 1, so he's going to try and replicate that as best as he can. I do like that he's also being a little bit safe. There's a Spore in the main base as well, even though he didn't go in for a scout, so just in case there was a Banshee.
Yes, and Banshees, there will be Cloakers on the way, and a Banshee is coming, so that Spore is going to come in handy. Definitely in a minute or so, as the Banshee's kind of sitting at home, so maybe like trying to play more defensive with his Banshees, maybe trying to roam the map and like deny outer bases and like harass Ravagers. Might be a different and alternate way to play. If you remember, Gumiho used to go for like speed Banshees for that purpose way back when he was a player, but like, even using regular Banshees, they're pretty good at keeping up with Ravagers.
I'm well aware. I don't know if you remember the player. Do you remember Lumia, the Terran, the Aussie Terran? In our amateur events, but but yeah, like he loves going Banshees. Like he would go like 3-4 Banshees just to go out on the map, you know, snipe queens, like clear creep, and that works so well against like a Roach Ravager based composition, because like there's so little anti-air, like you feel pretty safe and secure with them.
Exactly, and like that name, it brings me back. I feel like I lost a series to like, or I'm to like just Banshees, and like who uses their Banshees like this? Absolutely only you, and it's really well done. Not many people do, but it is such a nice style. I feel like more people should use them like that. But these Cloak Banshees are going in. They're gonna see an army and be like, hey, that's not a Marine drop, and get some drone kills that are starting to go down. But with that Spore Crawler so far out of position, so many drones.
Oh my god, this is devastating, the amount of damage that's being dealt right now, because again, the Spores are in position really kind of for a Liberator, you know, they're all the way back behind the mineral line, and as a result, so many workers just went down.
Exactly, and we do have the Banshee getting out, but like 8 kills and 3 kills. That's so much damage done, and one goes home and one's coming for more. He's clearing up the creep like we mentioned earlier. Yeah, it takes a couple of shots, but like still, it's really nice. There just isn't anything to stop this.
Yeah, there you go. 2 creep tumors do go down. Sure, the cloak is eventually going to run out, but so much damage has already been done with these Banshees, and if the Roaches ever decide to push out across the map, like they're just gonna be chipped away at. There's nothing to really stop that from happening.
And now these Roaches, I feel like Serial is in a bit of an awkward spot, because you kind of want to sit at home, drone up, and like really play that long game, and maybe get like 2-2 or 3-3. But at the same time, he's just like, he's got like this now go army that is very, very that like needs to hit at a spike.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this is the spike he's going for.
We'll see. He does have 1-1. The Queens are wallowing across the map, and they are the anti-air for those Banshees, who he's trying to go around and sneak up on those tanks.
I really like the play. He does dive on the tanks and does get a couple of them for free, but at the same time, there's just this massive wall here, and the siege tanks just keep on shelling, and the shells keep coming, and once again, Cloak Banshees are harassing this Ravager line.
Oh, that they are. And that was a big Roach investment for those 2 tanks as well. Like, that was almost all the Roaches of Serial. The majority of them have gone down. He only has a handful left to buffer for the Ravagers. We do see he is trying to rotate around to the south, maybe find another avenue of attack.
You know, I really like this out of Serial. He's rotating. He's like, yeah, so I don't think I can break your third base, but maybe I can get into your natural. However, they're just There's nothing. I was gonna say there might be like a siege tank going back, but I looked over and there was just like nothing. SCVs about to be pulled. So many SCVs are going down. Biles go down, trying like to clean things up, but the queens get stimmed down, and like I don't know who came out on top here.
Oh god, yeah, the army of Serial got surrounded, completely eaten up, but he did kill quite a number of workers, as Serial is still ahead in that worker count. Is he aware of that though? Like again, he lost the majority of his army there, and all he has left is roaches.
Yeah, no, these roaches are not quite what you want to fight, like siege tank, banshee. But regardless of that, I feel like that was just so much damage. Like, oh, I really like this. He's switching into, I feel like, what's going to be Ling Bane tech. He's got a Baneling nest. Does he have Zergling speed though? Yes, he does.
Ooh, okay. So he didn't skip it earlier. Thankfully, he didn't skip it. He does have it. And yeah, I do like the tech switch out of roaches. They've kind of served their purpose. And we do see that he's just trying to do whatever damage he can with them. He rotates over around the bases. And yeah, there's no tanks here to protect this mineral line.
Yes, the tank is so far from where you want it to be, with Wonder just being absolutely kind of in the boonies, for lack of a better word. As he does, Wonder is getting a nice base map with a drop on the other side of the map, and there's just so many Lings that are dying for free. He does even manage to get the drone. Wow. Before boosting out of there. Nice job by Wonder.
Yeah. Once this is what we saw before, right? Wonder, his drops are impeccable. He was able to kill this fourth base, keeping the economy fairly reasonable. And there's no spore at the third.
Oh no, 2 close banshees are gonna absolutely ravage this. So many drone kills. Like a queen kind of shows up, but across that, this is gonna take it forever. And in that meantime, so many drones have gone down. This is absolutely game-changing damage.
This is almost game-ending. Basically, almost the entire mineral line went down. The queen, the original queen that was there as well. Nicely done by Wonder. So yeah, just the amount of harassment that he's been able to lay on Serial is going to force him, I feel like, almost all in. But it's going to be so difficult to do so when he doesn't even have Baneling speed.
Exactly. You really kind of need to wait for Baneling speed, but that is an upgrade that would take so long to get. I feel like just maybe getting 2-2 and he now starts. I bet this feels awful as the Zerg player. Like, yeah, I'm in an okay position, but hey, I can go attack soon. Hey, I wonder if my Banelings has speed yet, and the answer is no. Just gotta hurt.
You could tell that's what happened. Where the Banelings finished morphing, he saw them waddle. He's like, oh, I don't have Baneling speed. That's why he only just now started it. So, and he's moving out. Like, he has to try and do something. I don't know if he can. I guess he's gonna have to wait until it finishes.
I mean, like, you could, like, try something, but it's like, it's really not going to go well. And in the meanwhile, while you wait, the Terran player is getting a bigger army, more SimCity, and more siege tanks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the one thing going for Serial is that Wonder still doesn't have a 4th CC, I believe. Like, he doesn't even have it in production. Like, he's still on 3 base economy. So because of that, like, you know, I guess it's okay that you've been stuck on as low hatcheries as you have been. But as you said, like, the bio army is still terrifying.
Exactly, and these Banshees are starting to finally get cleaned up. The one with like 19 kills died, and there's one with 17 kills still around and kicking. And Wonder's just in like such a nice position. He's got like, both players are basically maxed out. However, being maxed out on Roach Ravager is a vastly different thing than being maxed out on like Siege Tank, Medevac, Marine Marauder, because there's just so much more complexity and gas invested into the army that is good basically always.
Yeah, not only that, 2-2 is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, so Wonder is going to hit this timing. Meanwhile, Wonder is still stuck on 1-1. Oh, sorry, he has +2 armor, but still only +1 attack.
I really like it as it's a massive fight. The Baneling speed is finished, and there's a flank from behind as Serial just may be able to get it. There's so many Banelings, like, I don't know, nice micro though, but is there enough here?
Oh, we shall see. Oh, the Ling Bane goes down. It's only Ravagers remaining, but Ravagers are not what you want to see against Bio. The Bio just stims forward and focuses down all the Ravagers.
Oh man, what a fight. Everything, guys. Absolutely everything by Serial is invested into that fight. And GG gets called, and Wonder takes game number 3.
Wow, GG. Well played. Oh my god, Serial probably took the best engagement that he could have hoped for. Like, that surround was beautiful. He almost had it. Mate, Bayer's pretty good.
Yeah, that was gorgeous. Like, I feel like if he had just gotten there with his flanking army just like 1 or 2 seconds quicker, then he would have absolutely dumpstered that fight. But unfortunately, what I feel like happened was he engaged with his like top army just like 1 second too quickly in order for things to go absolutely perfectly. However, despite that, that was a very fun game. Like, these games have been so great today, man. I gotta say.
Yeah. It's just like a lot of these players, it feels like they're relatively around each other's skill level. So every single game has been close. It could have gone either way for either player. Again, just really nice engagement from Serial. As you said, like a little bit mistimed. You know, if it was timed a little bit better, he probably would have been able to clean it up a little bit more efficiently. I don't think he would have been able to win the game from there, but like he would have survived and the game would have just kept going, right? But
exactly.
Really well done.
Yeah, no, what a game. And speaking of really excellent games, we do have two excellent gamers on our hands in Ruiyichi versus Early for our next series.
Yeah, something we've been missing. We've had a lot of variety today, but finally we have our PvP.
Yes, the first PvP, and I believe this is the first PvP of Code, right?
Oh yeah. Oh boy, and I don't know what to expect. I mean, Early, we've seen him cannon rush, so why not whip that out in PvP?
I mean, I love it. Honestly, I really feel like one of these stronger PvP builds is to go for like a cannon rush into like the Void Ray Tempest contain sort of thing. If you remember Printf Turkey Dano versus Neve, excuse me, from I believe it was the Nation Wars, which is what a interesting game. I feel like that's the ideal way to play PvP.
Look, Turkey Dano has PvP on lockdown. Okay, it's it's amazing. I like he's a special kind of player. I don't know if you've seen.
He is indeed.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen much of him. Relatively recently, there was a tournament. It was called the UA tournament. It was a tournament where Latin America and Spain, like, they sent a bunch of players to that like online event. As you can imagine, because it's Latin America, Special won. But the only player to take a game off of Special was Turkey Dano. It's like that says something.
Yeah. That definitely does.
Oh god. But mate, are you ready? Are you ready for our PvP?
I am indeed. Do you want to count us in?
Oh god, let's do it. Let's go. Here we are. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the top right hand corner is the Red Protoss player representing Team Exxon. Give it up for Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the American Protoss player. He is yellow. He is teamless. He is Early. Okay, so oh my god, this guy, look at who goes in a PvP for a low ground wall?
Early does, apparently. And not only does he go for an early ground wall, but he also has a probe out in like his opponent's third base, making a proxy pylon. What is this game? What did I sign up for?
My god. So first when I saw the low ground wall, I was like, yo, is he gonna go for like a forge? Like, is that what's gonna happen? But now, like, with the proxy, never mind.
Is he gonna like go for a cyber core and a Stargate? Like, what's the play here? I'm so confused. My brain is too small.
Is this just zealots? This is just straight up. It's just zealots, mate. That's all it is, right?
He's just making zealots. Is he gonna make like a cyber core? Oh, he's got a cyber core. Okay. And so it's like it might be stalkers, but like what is this game? Like,
Oh boy. All right. So Ruiyichi, he goes and he sees the low ground wall, right? He sees the natural expansion wall. He sees the cyber cores on the way. He must be wondering, like, okay, like, where are the rest of your buildings? Like, they should be here. And he immediately throws down an aggressive pylon.
Yes, I really like this aggressive pylon here because, like, if Ruiyichi gets warp gate up, then he can very, very easily warp in some things. But speaking of,
oh my god,
some things. What is this game?
This is it. This is what we've been saving this series for the last one of the night, because we're going full NA here. We got some proxy pylons. Adepts are being chronoed out as we speak. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi, he's going to be pumping out an immortal to just bust through the wall.
Yeah, that immortal is gonna do so much damage. But is it gonna be in time? The adepts are already out, and there's already a follow-up of some stalkers as these adepts they finish, and there's nothing to block them off. They do get into the main base, and the stalkers are nowhere to be found.
Recalled. Yeah, they get recalled. The probes are starting to go down 2 already, and oh god, he has to be so confident to get surrounded.
Oh no, losing one of the adepts to the probe surround is absolutely worst case scenario. The adept does get out, and there are more units on the way for early, but like, what is this game, man?
Exactly, because early switching into stalkers of all things. So the adepts were just, initially to harass his opponent. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi, like, his plans have kind of been stifled a little bit because he had to warp in units to defend. So the immortal only just now starting.
Yes, that immortal is coming. The full wall is finally here, with the 4th gateway being made by early, or is it? There it goes. But like, man, what is this? What a weird game. We've got, like, I don't know.
I hope early goes for the base trade. I hope he like tries to go into the main. Like, once the push happens, early does have the option to recall, I suppose. But like, he has so much across the map, and I feel like even if he does recall, he's stuck behind a wall. There's no shield batteries. Like, it's gonna be so difficult for him to really fight against the immortal.
Yeah, no, this immortal, I feel like, is going to do so much damage. It is already starting to try and get the pylon down. Warp gate does finish, but there's nothing here defensively, and the units are going for it. There's a Robo Bay on the other side of things, but that's not going to help because there's a base race happening now.
I would love it if early saves up enough money for a Nexus, and because early has a probe in the top left-hand side of the map. Like, if he throws out a Nexus in the top left-hand base, like, that'd be amazing.
Ooh, I would love that. Meanwhile, these stalkers are going to get the pylon that is powering all of the tech structures, and so there's no more army here for Ruiyichi, excuse me. Oh no, he needs to cancel something. Cancel the robotics player, the cyber core. You got, like, gotta get a Nexus. Really does not have enough money for a Nexus. I do not like this plan.
Oh, but oh god, all the probes are going down in the main base for both players, actually. There was a bit of surround on the immortals, but recall does get used.
Nice job. The Nexus is still going to be there, and like, early does have to back up quite a bit, and I feel like early he has a big probe deficit, but if he can get like the disruptor and he can get the units off, he'll be in a nice spot. But like, that's such a risky play. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of his plans hinge on this disruptor. Like, because again, there's no blink, right? There's no way to micro against it. So like, one disruptor shot could completely swing the game into his favor.
Exactly, and there is the army is still coming, and so this disruptor, I feel like, is going to have to be recalled. This is all going to come down to the timing of things. There's no energy.
I was about to say, does he need to recall though? Because Ruiyichi just went across the map. So Ruiyichi doesn't have recall available. So early can just go for the base trade again, right? Like, he's the one with the buildings out on the map.
I mean, like, they both like sort of have buildings out on the map, but this army is here once again. These stalkers are going to first focus down the shield battery and then kill absolutely everything else. As once again, early does have to kind of go for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's a little bit late, right? Like, Ruiyichi was a lot faster, and he's already killed everything in the main base. But at the same time, Ruiyichi should be able to do the same early should be able to do the same to Ruiyichi.
And the probes are being pulled. There isn't enough money for like really any tech structures whatsoever. So early shouldn't be too worried about this. He does get like basically everything, and the probe does see like what early was up to him, so early can just like go for it. But will he be in time?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Early's been revealed. Now his final buildings, they are known, so the probes are on it. Oh god.
And the probes are being pulled. They are on the attack, and Early is gonna maybe try and kill the Nexus and back up, but like I don't know, man. Keeping this disruptor is all gonna come down to this one disruptor shot.
Yeah, he has to keep it hidden. That's the thing. Like, he can't like waste it on probes or anything like that. He has to wait for the rest of the army to show up. But at the same time, it's so risky because these are the final buildings of Early.
Yes, he is. It's definitely a game of cat and mouse. And the army is coming for Ruiyichi, but man, this army is so far. It's like coming up the ramp now. But like, oh, this is gonna be so dangerous. Early, come on, does he get it?
Beautiful disruptor shot. Yeah, that's what he needed, but the disruptor goes down in the end. The only one shot. That's all he had available to him, and now GG gets called.
Ruiyichi, what a game! What a response! What weirdness! That was beautiful. I love it.
GG. Ruiyichi takes game 1, and Early, he was so close as well. It's just he was always a little bit later when it comes to his response, and it's a shame that he only got 1 disruptor out, right? Like if he had just enough money for a second disruptor, like that would have been huge.
Yes, that would have definitely been huge. I feel like if he had 2 disruptors, he easily wins that game.
Yeah.
But only having just 1, not quite able to clutch it out. And we have game 2 on our hands.
My god. That was great. I want more of that. I can't wait to see what these two have in store for us in this series.
Exactly. Now I am super excited. I want this to go to game 3. I want like this weird like a 20-minute game where they trade bases 3 or 4 times. That's my dream scenario here.
That's what I wanted. I wanted Early to save up resources for that Nexus, but at that time, like if he had thrown down the Nexus, then he wouldn't have been able to throw down the Robotics Bay, you know. So he went for the disruptors instead, and I don't blame him. And god, it almost worked.
Yeah, almost. Next time.
Oh god, as we are getting ready to load in to game number 2, as it looks like the map is going to be Death Aura.
Yes, I'm very excited. I think, did we get every map today? I believe we did.
Actually, I don't think we got Oxide.
Oh, you're right. We didn't get Oxide at all today.
Yeah.
So darn it. Another day we failed map bingo, but hey, you know what? Maybe next time.
I know, right? Somehow we got Submarine, but we didn't get Oxide. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, considering there's like Protoss players in this group and Terran players, I feel like they play each other and get Oxide, but like maybe not, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's weird. All right, mate. Are you ready?
I am indeed. You want to count us in?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the top right-hand corner. Give it up for the red Protoss player. He's American, and he's on Team Exxon. He is Ruiyichi.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the American Protoss player, the yellow Protoss. He is teamless. He is Early.
Once again, going for that gateway on the low ground. I really liked this strat the first time. I wonder if he's gonna get a forge as well this time, or like what the plan is.
It's so bold whenever you see this. It's crazy. It's like egging your opponent on to be aggressive here. Like, my god. You see it sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely fighting words. Because like all Protoss players, like if you look at Ruiyichi's base, yeah, he's got the normal thing. Like, yeah, so we're gonna high ground wall. So adepts don't go in. We're gonna take both our gas. We're gonna tech immediately into like a bunch of units, and we'll get like one tech structure at home. And but like, and then you've got like the degen of Early. Like, yeah, no, we're gonna go for a Nexus.
Exactly. So yeah, it's interesting how these things have shaped up, especially because Early sent out an early probe, and I was curious what it was going to be, and there is another proxy pylon.
Ooh, I'm very excited. It is a ways off from finishing, but still, real quick before it goes down, what's your prediction? What is it going to be?
It's gonna be a Robo again. He's doing it.
Robo again, I think Starport. Let's wait and see.
Ooh, okay. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi is also throwing down a pylon pretty aggressively outside the bases of early, and oh, it is a Stargate.
Interesting, mixing it up. I really like this play. Meanwhile, at the proxy pylon, the probe does have to get back there, but do you think he's gonna do the Robo response once again?
It's been a long time since I've seen proxy Robo versus proxy Stargate. It used to be a lot more common in PvP. Oh my god, it's a Stargate!
What is this game?
Oh my god. So neither player has scouted each other's pylons. They are unaware of where the proxies are. But early, his is a little bit faster. Oh, I got spotted!
Oh no, that's absolute worst case scenario. Void Ray is being chronoed out, but the Stalkers are on the way, and so this Void Ray has to finish. If this Void Ray doesn't finish, Early's going to be in such a difficult position. There's the Stalker here to maybe try and like kite some shots, but the Stalker's move in response, and the pylon. I feel like the Void Ray's going to finish though.
Oh yeah, it looks like it will finish. Okay, thankfully, Early is able to keep that pylon alive, so the Void Ray does come out. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi going for an Oracle.
The Oracle's a very interesting play. I feel like it's a very high risk, high reward. If he can get all the probes, then like suddenly his job is so much easier. But we got like some batteries going up. Really, Ruiyichi is battening down the hatches. He is decided, I will hold. And he will lose everything to this Oracle heading across.
Yeah, for the first time, Ruiyichi throws down a shield battery in this entire day of casting, so finally something prompts him to do it. Meanwhile, Ruiyichi goes in with his Oracle, and this is the scary thing, there's absolutely nothing at home to defend.
Absolutely nothing. The probes are getting decimated here, and GG well play gets called, and Ruiyichi, he takes the game. Early, not even bothering to fight against the Oracle, killing everything. Man, like what a weird game. What a weird
GG. Oh god. F's in the chat for Early. Unfortunately, he was the one playing with incomplete information, where like, you know, his proxy got scattered. He didn't know he was being proxied. He didn't know that he had to have something at home to defend, whether it was a shield battery or a couple of stalkers. He didn't know the position that he was in, and unfortunately he had nothing as a response for that Oracle.
Yes, a bit unlucky there, but what can you really do? Just sometimes these things happen. But man, very entertaining games. Definitely keep keep playing Early. Just like I actually don't know who got through today. I'm not 100% sure on the math.
Yeah, so obviously Ruiyichi comes out first, and it looks like Wonder is come out second.
Oh wow! Well, hey, good on Wonder. His games are very entertaining, and I'm very curious to see what he brings into the next round. Because like he may have lost like 2-0 to Ruiyichi, and like there might have been a good number of 2-0s today. But those scores do not all represent how close each of those games were.
Oh yeah, again, I feel like we got really lucky with this group because every single series was entertaining, to say the least. They were really close. They could have gone either way. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, congratulations to the players who made it through.
Yeah, no, really well job by both of them. And hey, look forward to seeing them in the next round. Hopefully, I'm actually not 100% sure on the format. Do we get to cast them in the next round, or is it just...
So Code A is just group stage into up and down matches. Like that's it. Yeah, okay. There's no like playoff bracket or anything like that. So after we finish up the group stage, which we will be casting the final groups next week, then we go straight into the up and down matches.
Hey, that's very, very cool. And I'm very excited to see the final group cast of next week, and then hey, we get to cast some up and down matches. So we'll see more of Wonder and Ruiyichi there. What are your predictions? Do you think they'll do well in the up and down matches?
I expect Ruiyichi to do well. Obviously, we don't know who they're going to be going up against, but like these are some pretty strong players. I know that they are going to have like at least a week to prepare for their opponents as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they show off there. And myself, I am cheering for Ruiyichi. Last week, if I recall, Kozan made it through. Alongside, as I quickly check, it was Kozan and Scrubbles. So yeah, I hope Scrubbles does well as well, because his matches were entertaining.
Yeah, no, honestly, all these players have been super entertaining so far. I really hope Ruiyichi and honestly, I hope all the players do well. I just I don't know, I want them all to advance.
Yeah. So we have our bias with our Code A players. Screw those Code S guys, mate.
Exactly,
they got no chance.
And no, absolutely zero chance. And then next season where it's like, hey, go Code A players, Code S players, Ruiyichi who?
Exactly. But really well done by all our players today. Really entertaining games. And I do see Zerg Troll. He was asking a little bit about you, mLty. Why don't you tell the people who you are? Because I know you've done quite a bit in the StarCraft 2 scene.
Yes, I've been a caster for quite a while. I believe I started casting in 2017 with WCS Latin America. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at mLtySC. I do also have an Instagram at mLtySC, but I don't really use it, so you can follow me there, but don't really expect too much out of me. And yeah, so I mostly shitpost in other people's chats and on Twitter, but you can occasionally see me go live, and I will tweet when I do go live. And I meant to retweet your tweet today, but I forgot. I just realized. Oops, I will eventually get that down, the use of my social medias. But hey, so give me a follow, and I also cast the NA Apprentice Code A stuff, so with Light on this channel, so that's always very fun, and hope to see it next week.
Yeah, definitely. You've done other things as well. I could be wrong here, but you also, I want to say you helped produce the Tasteless podcast in the beginning, ?
Yes, I did. Throughout basically all of 2019, I was the main producer of the Tasteless podcast. We eventually brought in State to help stage things up, but for quite a while, I was there from the very beginning up until we really got off the ground and running.
Yeah, and of course, for a while you were living in Korea as well, with everyone else that was there.
Yes.
For how long?
Very fun. I got to Korea a couple days before my birthday in 2019, and then I left Korea in April, I want to say, so about a year and a half, and then I do plan on going back to Korea, for full transparency, because I do have a little bit of work lined up out there, but that's not quite public yet, and so we'll have to wait and see. It's not StarCraft related, so don't get your hopes too high, but so very fun, and I do look forward to being back in Korea. It's very exciting and a good place to live. I recommend coming to visit if you ever get the opportunity.
Yeah, that's the dream for me. One day I want to go going to a GSL, or unfortunately it's difficult living here in Australia because there aren't really any big major lands. I haven't had the luxury of going to a BlizzCon or an IEM or a DreamHack or a GSL. One day, hopefully.
Yes, it's a good goal to reach for. I feel like.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining me today. I'm of course Light_VIP. You can follow me on the social medias as well. I do stream occasionally. I'm probably going to stream in a couple of hours. Just some behind the scenes stuff, working on thumbnails, working on VODs, working on SC2 birthdays and what have you. But yeah, more importantly, you can follow us here on the CranKy Ducklings. We are live throughout the entire week. This week we're live, I believe, 6 out of the 7 days. So we've got plenty of StarCraft available here, whether it's North American, Latin American, Oceanic, Korean, all that good stuff. So if you enjoyed our casting, then consider following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Twitch. We really appreciate the support if you do so. And with that, I think we're done for the day. Do you have anything you want to add?
Root for me in the MSO tomorrow. I believe it's in Or I believe that's happening. I'm looking at the schedule right now that you showed on screen, and MSO is there, so I'm really hoping that you're going to play in it. And if so, root for me. I hope to win it.
Yeah, I was meant to mention that as well. If you tune into the MSO broadcast, then you should be familiar with mLty because he's usually there. He's usually competing, and he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Very, very unorthodox builds. Very aggressive. A lot of fun.
Yes. I've been really practicing, so I hope to show good games for my fans. But I believe, so I'm excited to be there, and I'm looking forward to the cast. And like, it's in a day and 7 hours, I believe, if your graphic is right.
I hope so. Actually, 7. Yep, a day and 7 hours. So yes, we will be there. Sorry. Yeah, it is. You had me second guessing myself, and I'm like, oh my god, is that right? I don't know. That is correct. So we'll be there tomorrow in just over 24 hours. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned as we will raid another StarCraft streamer. But until then, ciao.
Bye.